When I first talked to Brandon Sanderson about the show and my worries about the overall adaptation, I was like, one thing I'm thinking about is that books 2 and 3 both have the same narrative arc, essentially, of landing with Rand in a confrontation from a man who will come to realize this is Shamael. And like, how do we... You can't do that in television 2 seasons in a row because that doesn't work in that context. And he said the same thing.
This is absolutely gross. That boy is a P.I.G. pig.
The Great Hunt and the Dragon Reborn, the same book. I mean, they're going from point A.
I will end this stream. I will end this stream. None of that.
I mean, all three are the same book. I mean, they go from point A to point B, and shit happens.
Bad Mercurial. You're trying to bring in spoilers for the Dragon Reborn. Jacob has not read his. So we talked about this, that we're only going to talk about books 1 and 2. Jacob didn't do his homework, and there was much sort of tutting in the green room. And we told him he's got 30 chapters to read by Sunday for your stream. Everyone here in the chat, we have 14 people in the chat. You guys are all witnesses. Jacob Ironsides has to read all 30 of those chapters. So
yeah.
I'm a man of Manetheren, and I approve this message.
Last time on Revisiting the Wheel of Time.
It's also probably a bundle of Spears joke in there.
It was me. It wasn't Brian. It was me. I couldn't help myself.
What the hell happened? Don't tell me I have to take away your privileges too. First Pix misbehaves. Oh God!
I didn't misbehave. All right, that's it. I didn't.
Yeah. You were effing with my text.
I was trying.
With my title.
You have a black background going here. I was trying to get some Wheel of Time flavor in here, and all you got is
what's wrong? What's wrong with the void? What's wrong with the void?
The void is not.
There was no flame.
There's no flame. Exactly.
If you're gonna do the void, come on now. And in my
defense, that's what's wrong.
Okay, egregious. Once, shame on you. Twice, shame on Brian for not revoking your privileges.
In fact, he just gave them back. He just re-upped my subscription. Basically, he's like, "Hey,
yeah." Well, I stripped tips of his because bad behavior. So now,
I was looking for like a.
Maybe I should just give it to Nathan. Maybe Nathan. Maybe
he'll probably behave.
Yeah,
I was looking.
He's definitely the most responsible.
I don't want to do that.
I was seeing if
because like they lose their souls, right? That's how they're kind of described. So there's a process involved, but
they were originally people that
they were originally people. They give up their soul, and then they basically become so not hot dame, so plain and ordinary looking that the eye kind of falls off them. So they become kind of the ideal assassin.
And now the continuation.
Welcome, everybody, to part 2 of me reading The Wheel of Time, reading The Dragon Reborn for the very first time. So this one will be covering chapter 16 through 32. So it's going to be mainly Egwene and Matt's point of views being talked about today. So just before I get into this, I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. So we got, of course, all of our panelists are in the chat. Thanks for keeping the conversation alive. We got Kevin Adams here. What is this, Star Wars? Yeah, I don't know what that is either. Trip is tripping. We got Nas. We got Mr. Ironside. So once we get to chapter 29 or 30, you have to hightail it. We got, of course, we got Aurora. What's up, Aurora? And I think that's it. Oh yeah, William Richards, Mr. Richards, Louise X Sparrow, Gadfly Fiction. Well, thank you guys for being here. So, without further ado, I want to introduce my special guest, the one and only from Down Under, Eldan. What's going on, sir? How are you?
Not too bad, nerd man. Going well, mate. It's good. Monday morning here, so new week, fresh start.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to get you because you're all the way, like I said, like you're all the way down under, and I don't know, if it's a work week for you or something. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. And what I always ask my new guests who are new to this channel,
yes,
or new to this, how did you get into Robert Jordan and the Wheel of Time?
Oh, that's a good question. Look, to be honest, and this is okay. So allegedly, I was when I was in high school. I think year 8, year 9. Yeah. Anyway, I stole a book out of the library. There was we had this old bitch in the library, and she was a complete bat, and we hated her guts. Anyway, I was just literally playing a prank, mate. I was trying to see if I could get a book out of the library without this old bat noticing. And anyway, and it turned out it was to be The Eye of the World, and I read it, and I loved it. And that was how that started. I loved it so much that I actually took the book back and put it back in the library after I stole it. And I didn't get busted at all. So
nice. So hopefully a librarian is not watching now if she's even alive.
She's dead now, mate. She's dead. Sure. 100%. Yeah, has to be.
So what really resonated with you in Eye of the World?
The friendship between the boys, to be honest. I think that's what it really was. Like Matt and Rand, their journey as they were being chased sort of all around the place, that constant being under the pump and sticking together, even though Matt had every reason not to really have that mindset of being loyal and sticking with his mates like he still did. And I think that's that's mostly what it was, man. And it was Rand, honestly, Rand's character, his earnestness, I think is the right word for it. Just good heart, good people, good farm, country sort of people. I grew up in the bush, that sort of stuff, and we moved into the city. And it was, I think that's mostly what resonated with me, just the good-natured hearts of these people and the conservative values, to be frank, as well. That's always a good thing to read about when you're a young man. Yeah, and also to be fair, when I was a young fella, I guess you could make the case that the whole patriarchy thing was more of a problem. Maybe it was an issue back then, right? Maybe if you were going to make an argument, you could say that maybe back then, in the 90s, it was more of a problem than what it would be today. And it was very refreshing, man, to read a world that had where the power dynamics were on the matriarchal side of things. Not that it was a matriarchy, and I think RJ said this himself, that he didn't go plan on writing a matriarchy type, flip the whole, invert the whole thing on its head. He just wanted to write something with a bit of equality in it or whatever. But that's not the way that it reads for me, to be honest. And that's just purely because the most powerful thing in this made up world is, it can only be touched by women, that sort of thing, with Side R. So that just automatically feeds into these narratives of how does power corrupt? Absolutely, sort of thing. Does it matter? Does it draw distinctions between what's between your legs? No, I don't think it would. And I think RJ was pretty spot on with the way that he depicted a lot of the different relationships, especially in Eye of the World, like with Moiraine and everyone around her, and the way that she interacted with all these different groups that they come along in Eye of the World, being the most powerful being in that setting or whatever. And my favorite thing about the Eye of the World, honestly, was the fact that Nynaeve was thinking shit about any of that stuff, and like she just had the biggest hate boner for Moiraine. I loved it. It's just like, yeah, I mean, this is the most powerful person that she's ever met in her life, whatever.
Yeah.
And she's just like, I don't care, I'm going to kill you.
Yeah, and what's funny is even at this point in the story, she still feels that way. She's like, you fucked up our lives, like Moiraine, you fucked up our lives. I mean, that's
right.
Yeah, so I just can't wait to keep seeing her. Like, she's growing on me. That character is growing on me quite a bit. So
yeah,
I agree. I totally agree with the Rand and Matt stuff, especially when they're on their own after they get cut off from Tom and everything. Yep. I think that was some of their best stuff. And of course, like you said, Rand's wholesomeness, the way he feels about his father and everything, just, that type of thing, just really, it's why I'm still reading. It's why I'm still reading, because I'll be honest, it's somewhat of a struggle to get past a lot of the purple prose, especially the way Robert Jordan writes purple prose. So he writes it differently from Martin. So it's just,
it's true.
Yeah. So, but once I get past it, it's like, it's like a trial. You get past it, and then you get to the sweet cream filling that Steve would most certainly appreciate me saying right here. So
he loves the cream fillings. I mean, that's
so. All right, well, Aldan, thanks for sharing that. That was such a great response. Definitely going to clip that for the future. So. All right, so let's bring in the panelists. So we got this one guy here. He disagrees with me on the thing that he's currently playing, Steve. And you're muted. You're still muted. Jesus Christ, what are you doing? On Steve.
Did you mute me? I didn't mute myself. You're trying to. You know what? I'm gonna change. I can't believe you didn't take that background out after all that. It's still on your tab, but whatever.
Well, it's better to have a black. I'll say this: it's better to have a black background tab, especially when I'm going in between. Because I have multiple videos. That's the intro is made up of like two parts. I don't want it to go to the background and kind of interrupt the flow.
Gotcha. So, I didn't know that's why I did it, but. Right on.
So how you doing? How's Tears of the Kingdom? How's Tears of the Kingdom? I know you've been playing that for like 48 hours straight.
It's amazing. It's in fact, there's a little child playing it right next to me right now. And
I'm totally wrong and totally disingenuous in my claim. Okay, so you're right. I didn't play the game. I don't know the exploration, so you're absolutely right. So I take responsibility for that. Oh no, Shai's here too. So I have to. I can't admit that now. Sorry. So.
Oh boy.
But Steve, thanks for being here. Thanks for making that thumbnail. Thanks for doing these thumbnails for me.
Of course, bro. So anytime, man.
All right, and of course we got the legendary holder of some. I think that's bourbon. I don't know if that's bourbon or bourbon. Legendary bourbon with a legendary beard. The one and only Nathan Manamethrin. What's going on, sir?
Not much. How's it going?
It's going. So how you doing? How's your have you gone the Zelda? I know you were watching.
Oh yeah. Yeah, Steve and I have been playing it.
Okay.
I've been on the Discord with him while I've been playing. I have not gotten in the 48 hours within a 24-hour time frame that he has. But it's possible that in the 10 hours that I've played, I might have explored more than he has.
As long as you guys are enjoying it, Yeah,
it is a lot of fun. There's a lot of good mechanics with this game. It's been a blast.
I'll definitely have to pick it up sometime. I just don't feel the urge to, and I usually pick up Zelda games day one.
I have 2 copies now, so might as well. I can maybe let you borrow one at some point.
Yeah, he'll send you some mayo packets with it too.
Yeah, exactly. It'll be covered in it. I'll hide the disc in one mayo packet, and you'll have to dig through them.
All right.
It's like bubble wrap.
Jesus Christ. All right, you guys ready to
Where?
get started? Pips is away for now, so he'll come in when he can come in. So I think where we left off last time, Egwene accidentally gets killed or assassinated by a gray man, and they just kind of how it left off. They go back, and Sheriam tells them not to tells them not to tell Elaine, but they tell in this chapter today they tell Elaine everything, and we get a visit from I think this is the first time in this book we get a visit from Gawain and Galad, Elaine's two bros, well, full bro and half bro, and both are both are attracted to Egwene.
That's saying it lightly. Galad is a massive flirt, man. I've forgotten how much of a flirt he was until I was reading this the other day. I was like, man, Galad is such a flirt. And
I like how they always comment how pretty he is, like the way they like in Song of Ice and Fire. They always comment how pretty Jon Snow is, while they're saying how pretty Galad is and everything. But just the fact that Elaine hates him because he never disobeys like an order, or I think it's just not disobey. Like
he tells the truth. He tells the truth to a fault, basically. Sorry, go ahead.
So he's kind of like original Trek Vulcan. You know, Vulcan is incapable of telling a lie type of deal. Or
I think it's probably,
or can he lie, or can he just?
He can lie. He's just
duty. He's just extremely dutiful to the point where
he will do the right thing no matter what the cost.
Yeah. Okay.
So if it's right to let it, I don't know, to let a baby freaking stab a criminal and kill him, then he'll let him. Like, even though he's killing a person, right? I don't know. That's a terrible example, but even if the consequences are catastrophic, but it's in terms of morality, it's the right thing to do, even though you might be able to save 20 lives by stopping one thing. He will let it proceed because it's the right thing to do.
Yeah, and he's already worked this out. He's already worked this out. He knows. He's got his code. Everything goes through Galad. Everything that Galad does goes through his code.
So I forget they share the same father, right? It's just Galad's mother is not Morghese.
Yeah, correct.
Okay, all right. So I'm trying to recall my Camelin lore right now. So from Eye of the World. So apparently because of the events of the Great Hunt, Morghese just gets completely livid about the fact that Elaine left the tower without any permission, and completely cut off the relationship between Tar-Valon and Camelin. So because Elida was like kind of like, even though the queen was there, like Elida was calling all the shots when Rand was in the court in Eye of the World, and now because of what happened, Elida has been expelled from Camelin, and Elida is just this is just not having this. So
yeah,
sorry, go ahead.
Morghese is pissed, man. I'm not sure that we know exactly why Morghese is pissed, but yeah, she's had a pretty severe reaction to something, and now she's just like not about the Aes Sedai at all.
So you just know Morghese is pissed at the tower. You don't really. You're right. You sort of make your own. You start making assumptions here, right? You don't really know concrete because you don't have her point of view. You don't really know why or what happened. You assume it's because of Falme. You assume it's because the tower let her left, but you don't really know that for a fact, and that sort of like leads into a read and find out, because there is another reason.
You're saying the truth is not what we think it is.
I guess that's basically. I don't want to go any further than that, but yeah, I think that's fair.
So Steve, are you actually an Aes Sedai? Is this your thing?
Fuck
that you're
no.
telling?
They
Okay.
don't accept
Aes
Rangers.
Sedai. Witches. Shit.
That's fake news.
Interesting. I can't wait. I'm curious if a certain character came into contact with her. Probably
What
not.
character?
But a character that is a king and queen breaker. That
Pat and Fane?
Yeah, Pan Fane.
No, he didn't.
No, it's not him. Okay. Interesting. I'll definitely. Okay. I'll have to. Okay. All right. Fair.
Yeah, that's not ruin anything. We'll just that's a false trail now.
Yeah.
And Fane and Morgaze's life. But you're paying attention because he is a kingmaker. He kingmaker and then destroyer. But so yeah, that's fair enough. Good guess.
And speaking of the bitch herself, Elida comes. So Gawain leave, and then Elida just kind of busts on in and just starts questioning them. It's like, what happened? And they're like, we were told not to say anything by the Amerlin. And then she goes into, we lost 1,000. There was 1,000 years bond between us, and now it's ruined because of you and all. And then of course we get. She somehow figures out that Leandrin is Black Aja, and that there were 13 sisters altogether that left. So apparently, Nynaeve manages to use her understanding of how Aes Sedai respond to basically come up with a non-answer. To get her to change subject. She changes the subject to Rand, asks about Rand. And then he is like, hey, he must with what's going on with him, he must be Tuverin. And then they're like, and then Sheriam comes in. And Sheriam and Elida just have the stare down, and then Elida leaves. So so we get
Well, and Elida, this is one of the first indications that Elida really starts trying to kind of skirt the typical activities or typical protocols that that individuals have in the tower. Just appearing in one of the acceptance rooms isn't really, it's not unheard of, but it's not something common, especially when she comes in and starts talking the way that she does.
Yeah. She's just a bitch straight up. Which is pretty cool.
No doubt.
Like it just pops off the page in the first word that comes out of her mouth. It's crazy. She's just a massive bitch.
Yes. And we get to see more.
You already kind of knew that, I suppose, but you compare this to the Elida that we've seen before, dealing with Rand in Camelot or whatever. And even here, she's just she's gone up a level, and I'm not sure
She's probably the most infuriating probably the most infuriating character in the whole series, at least because it's just I don't want to. I'm going to stop there because she just, God, she sucks. She's so bad.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to see what she does in the future. I'm assuming she's going to be doing a bunch of shit.
And this is what's great about you can have infuriating characters, and they're intentionally infuriating by Jordan, and that's what Steve, you and I have had this conversation plenty of times, how people would sit there and say Robert Jordan doesn't know how to write women. No, I've known plenty of bitches like this.
Exactly right, man, and plenty of stupid ones like all the rest that are around her. That's why I think that she pops off the page. It's not just that she's such a massive bitch; it's that she's onto it, if that makes sense. She's onto him. You can tell, from the things that she's insinuating, the way that she's approaching the conversation, the things that she's saying. She's like, something's going on here. So she's not stupid. She's just a massive bitch. And when there's so much, everyone around her, a lot of these Aes Sedai are just sort of airy, fairy, dumb bitches. Whereas she's just clearly she's not stupid.
I gotta give Alex a big true. Yes. True. Yes. You're right.
All right.
Elaine hate. What is with the Elaine hate?
Yeah. All I know is I every time I read and she says something when they're in a bad situation, I'm like, shut up, Elaine.
It's funny because my brother's an intense hater of Elaine. One day I got to get him on the channel because he has a point list of everything that Elaine did wrong and how many people she got killed directly.
And I met him too.
But sorry.
All right. Before we go any further, I managed to persuade him to come back. Let's welcome the horse of all trades himself, Mr. Pips. What's going on, sir? Welcome.
Hey. Sorry for the delay. I had to go get some whiskey after watching that intro video.
Yeah, that was yeah, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, it was a fun one. It was a fun one.
You didn't even have a trigger warning. You didn't even have a trigger warning. Which is irresponsible. I mean, no trigger warning. So I got some 140 proof home home product here. Actually, you tried a sip of this earlier in the aging process.
Yeah, I did.
When you came to visit.
Yeah, I did. And it was
actually,
I was like,
it's quite good. It's quite good now. It's quite good now. 140 proof, 100% corn mash, barrel aged in my house here.
Oh man, a homemade hazmat, nice.
You can smell the corn for sure. I mean, 100% corn mash, like you're going to.
Yeah.
But I previously finished some port in this barrel, and you can taste the port. It's pretty good. Much better than Elaine, who does indeed suck. That was a good conversation you guys were having. Right
he doesn't age well.
And for those of you who aren't professional streamers, that's what we call a segue, and crushed it. So
I'll drink to that.
Damn you people from the other hemisphere, and you're drinking during the daytime. I swear to God.
hey, what time is it over there? What time is it over there? Like 10 o'clock, 10 a.m.?
Yeah, 10:30, man. If I didn't have to work, I would be drinking too. But
you could be drinking some beers.
Yeah, I could be, but I've got some testing to do for some code, so I have to do that after this, man. Otherwise, it would be. If I didn't have to get my 1s and 2s correct, I'd be all over it.
All right, well, all right, so we got that. One thing that was interesting that was talked about, I think it was in this chapter, is I think they were wondering if the girls themselves were stronger together than Elida. I think that's how it was, or was it just Egwene?
What was the question? Sorry.
Yeah.
There's a point where there's a point where Egwene feels like they could take her. They could take Elida.
Yes, they could.
If it got to
if it came down to
fighting.
Yeah. Because she was right up in their grill. She was right up in their face. And I like that for Egwene. If I can't remember that, to be honest, man, but that sounds like Egwene. She would be thinking that way.
yeah,
totally. Especially after Fallman, right? She has PTSD to the 100th power.
Yeah. So Shiriam comes and picks them up, says, "Hey, we're gonna go heal Matt." Foiling they were considering, hey, maybe we should heal Matt ourselves. That was the other thing that they talked about.
Yeah, that's where they get some of their naivete that they think they know everything and they don't.
Did you say naivete?
Might as well. We should coin that phrase, right? Actually, no. Nynaeve is right behind Min, is the best female in the series, probably. But.
Not at this point in the series. Not at this point in the series. She still sucks at this point in the series.
Well, at this point, yeah.
She's still rad because she's just grumpy.
She's grumpy. Yeah. I know a lot of people had problems with Nynaeve at the beginning. I didn't so much. I mean, but
it's hilarious.
She's just all bottled up. She just
it takes some land.
She draws on
to
her
get
anger,
that flowing, right? Yeah.
She draws from the dark side to channel.
Yeah, magic.
Like, I want to be angry. I need my pain. That's Nynaeve. Oh, so what do you guys think of the healing of Matt? So apparently they go to the lowest chambers. I think they're in I don't know if it was, I forget if it's the round room or a square room. Doesn't matter. Matt's laid out. Every named tell me if I'm wrong. I think every named Aes Sedai that we know of to this point is in that room performing this thing, healing, performing this healing, and we get this Terangriel. I forget, or not Terangriel. I think it's a Saangriel. The white stick.
Boost the power, yeah. Songirl,
It's
boost the power. Yeah.
Vora's Sangreal.
Forest Wand. Yeah, Forest Wand. Does that? And I think that they say that it's like the most. Do they say that this is the most powerful Sangreal that they've got in the
They
tower?
have, I think.
That they have.
I think it's the most powerful one in the tower's possession. I think. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if it's if they probably there's probably others that they don't know, and I believe from my reading there's Terangrial or Sangreal in the heart of the Stone of Tyr, I believe.
Stone of Tyr. There's not many Saw Angral around. Angral, yeah, Terangral are all over. Sangral are extremely rare.
They're just stronger, right?
They're very much stronger, like order of magnitude stronger. Stronger.
And that's the only difference between Angreal and Sa-Angreal.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what's funny is also you needed 10 Aes Sedai and a Sa-Angreal to rid the evil out of Matt. So it just goes to tell you how powerful this dagger was in the first place.
So Sangreal are so special and powerful and rare. Most of them have names. They're named because they are so rare and so unique. So that's the biggest difference between a Sangreal and an Angreal. Angreal are just like, okay, they boost the power. That they're not like super, like it's not like you have a bunch on a shelf, but there's more of them. Sangreal are so rare, they're unique, they're named. They each have like a unique look and a unique name to them. That's why they're so rare. They didn't make many, so they're famous basically.
Yeah, and it's important to note too that that Swan told the girls that they almost got defeated by the dagger in this healing process. I mean, it is.
Yeah, the window between them being able to heal Matt and if they went any further, it would kill him.
Yeah.
Like there's such a small window, so they had to be extremely surgically precise. When I was reading this, I felt like they were performing a surgery, basically. It was like watching an episode of ER or something.
Yeah, minus the GMs.
Yeah. And it was cool. Hey, like the tension that got built up in that too, man, was like, it was extreme. Like I was listening to this, I don't know, last week, I think, with my boy or whatever. And the tension that was in that room, man, as they were trying to do what they were trying to do, was palpable. You could cut it with a knife. It was really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of good stuff. I think the tension building up is good. I like that they kind of realize their, how weak and not knowledgeable they are. They have the great sort of moment of realization, but even after they have the realization that like, even with all this, like they're not sure that they can do it. And then they still they see what's happening. They're like, oh man, like they're killing him. Like we might have to do something. It's just like crazy stuff going on.
Yeah, they were considering joining their power. They were like, we're gonna add our power to theirs and everything. So
even though they can see like how everything that they could hold would not hold a candle to what's going on over there, which is pretty funny. Mm-hmm. The amount of arrogance that's implied in some of the lines where they're like, I don't think I could hold a tenth of that. You're like, it's 10 of them and a song.
Yeah.
Which is also like this like cool thing, just a cool, it gives us an idea, or it gives you a bit of an idea of just how powerful Nynaeve is. Because I think that's Nynaeve's perspective, that she's thinking that, right, Pips, isn't it? That Nynaeve is like, I couldn't hold half this power, whatever. And it's like, dude, that's like more power than's ever been in this tower for like thousands of years. And Nynaeve's like, I can't quite get halfway.
Yeah.
So Nynaeve is like bulk powerful.
Yeah. But I will say, I'm curious what you guys think. The thing that's always thrown me about this scene, and I don't actually like it. So they gave Swan as the Amerlin. They had her kind of meld the flows, right? And there's another situation that I won't talk about because that would be spoilers. Comes in a later book where I think we see a similar context, and we see the person. We see the
should have been a yellow.
We see like not the most senior person kind of doing the flows because they're the most knowledgeable, right? And in this situation, it should have been a yellow. Like Prophet said, it should have been a yellow. In fact, probably it should have been one. It should have been like the best yellow, and then just the 9 most powerful Aes Sedai that were in there. So like Nynaeve should have been a part of this circle, just to be like the Energizer Bunny, just give the power into the circle, right?
So the Amyrlin is not. So the Amyrlin is not the.
She's not going to be the best.
Even in the most powerful.
Yeah, I don't know that she's rather powerful, but there's nothing we've seen so far to suggest that she has any particular talent in healing. And the Yellow Aja, all they do is heal. So like if you're looking at it from a story building perspective, the biggest healing that we've seen in the series thus far, and it doesn't even highlight the Yellow Aja, just seemed like a miss to me. And I've always kind of been disappointed that we gave it to Swan.
But there were Yellow Aja, right? There were Yellow Aja.
But they weren't controlling.
But it doesn't matter. Like, just because there's Yellow Aja there doesn't mean anything. Suwan is she's the conductor. She is doing the deed. The others are just there. Yeah.
But see, that's just, I think that what you're seeing here. Okay, so in defense, in RJ's defense here, Pips, I think what you're seeing here is, I mean, well, what it is Swan being Swan, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's Swan being Swan, and maybe it's not the best thing to be doing. Maybe it's not the best way to go about it, but it's Swan causing problems for herself potentially, right? And she's lucky in this that it works, because it could not have. And then what would have happened? Yeah, right. So it's an example of this is super powerful,
making a bad decision.
Here's the arrogance of the person.
I would have
on display.
I would have liked.
It's a matter of pride. Is that what was that what you're saying?
Yeah.
This is
fame, pride, making a name for herself.
Which is totally fine. Except I think that there should have been, so it's like, hey, I will meld the flows, the Amyrlin said, right? And she talks through, right? There should have been something there where the yellow sister kind of like looked at it, right? There should have been something to kind of sort of spotlight to the reader that's what he was going for.
Right? What a bitch! That should be me.
It's just always been one of those things where like it's felt, and this is like a tiny sort of critique on the scene. I think it's a great scene. I don't know. I just wanted to offer that up and get your guys' feedback, because for me, I've always thought the scene could have been 2% better if it just had the yellow member just kind of like. You said
that
would
have been good. Yeah, that would have made sense as well.
Like, imagine if the yellow sister was holding the sangreal. Like, dude, I get to use the most powerful sangreal in the world. This is my day. I'm gonna be in the history books of the Yellow Aja. Yeah. And then Swan is like, I'll take that. I will be melding the flows. And then she just gives her the look, and Swan's like, do you have something to say, daughter? And she's like, no, mother.
Well, could it also be just what the source of the issue is being the dagger, and not a typical type of healing that you would see out there in the world, as to why she did that? I mean, it's not written in the page, so we're looking at white spaces here, but it could be a result of that, what she perceived as the source issue as to why Yellow wasn't heading that up.
Aurora, I think, actually probably gives
the
best kind of in defense of it. And I've heard this idea before as well. I just, for me, the thing that is missing is the other Aes Sedai reacting to it, because the Aes Sedai politics stuff is like so keyed in on those types of things that that would have been a huge slight to the Yellow Aja, sort of like probably a sitter of the Yellow Aja, maybe even like the first healer or first weaver or whatever the heck they call them, themselves, right? I don't know.
To not get the opportunity.
So hold on.
That's a good point, Aurora.
Let me play devil's advocate here a little bit. I don't think she was protecting Matt. I think she was protecting herself. She's neck deep in this shit. So if Matt lets it loose, who Rand is, Suwan's gone. She's dead. So I think she may be on a level protecting Matt, but she's more interested in protecting her own skin. If all this gets screwed up with Matt, if he blew something out or it goes wrong, her neck could be on the line too. So.
Let's talk about what Matt blurted out. I forget now. Pips, you have the book with you. I don't have the exact words. All I know is that he says. Muad'Din Tiadar Allende, Kahadrin
Cabadrin Radium. I don't know how to pronounce that one. Los Valdar Cubiari Los Karai on Kalazar Karai on Kalazar. So it's
ordering soldiers.
Yeah, exactly. So I think, and you know, if we had Dane here with his the companion, we could translate it.
I found it interesting too, Pips, because there's always that like where Matt gets his memories from, that sort of thing. Like, it's interesting. He's like that this happens here. It doesn't seem to fit.
Well, and there's a couple paragraphs later when Matt opens his eyes and he glares at the women standing around him. Says Mia Allende Aisadai Kalahayan Masanye Inde Muagde Aisadai Masanye Mia Allende, and he began to scream and roar a roar of rage that went on and on till Egwene wondered that he had breath left in him.
Yeah, and Sawan says what that is later on, doesn't she?
They do on the last page of it. So he was ordering soldiers is his first one to a battle 2,000 years gone. I would say the old blood comes again, and then it was not about a battle. I heard him say Aes Sedai, and then she's like, he said I'm a free man, Aes Sedai. I am no Aes Sedai meat, which
I am no
is
Aes
great.
Sedai meat.
Which is great, Matt.
Yeah, Matt from a but Matt from this age, or like Matt's soul from another age. That's the question.
So that's what I'm curious about. I'm curious if apparently Rand is loose there, and maybe Matt is another prominent figure.
Brian, you have to read and find out with this sucker.
You have to read and find that out. Yeah, because
I wasn't expecting an answer. I wasn't expecting an answer there. But I thought
the next book reveals a good chunk of it, but it's a process.
So
I don't actually think that we ever get a full answer of Matt and his use of the old tongue in these first books. I have a pet theory about it, but it doesn't ever get corroborated by the story. So,
I did want to say, like to Steve's point earlier, I don't know that she's protecting her own ass, because she was, she's in a position multiple times in the books where she's all about getting Rand to where he needs to be, and if that ends up being a sacrificial role for her, then so be it.
Yeah, but her inner monologue is, "We're fucked if they find out." Like, I mean, you're right. I mean, they wouldn't do this if, Moraine and Siuan are obviously in it, right? If they're found out, be damned. But they don't want to be found out. I'm not saying that's it. I was just
I know. No, it's the fun part of the discussion is you've got all these different avenues that you can sit there and look at, and it's just
she's committed, and she full well knows she's committed. Obviously, she's going to do everything in her power to make sure that he goes where he needs to be. Right. So
that's all I know about Siuan. Her and Moraine are in this together.
Yeah. Not in a love shot.
I mean, like this. Sorry, like this.
With the traveling Terran that they found in the closet. Oh, sorry. Okay.
Fuck off.
Sorry. It's powered with black goo that they suck out of children. Oh, sorry.
Oh, wait.
Sorry. My bad. Wrong show. Oh, I think
you've lost him. You broke him, Steve.
I did it. All right, so it's time for me to take over. Here we go. I'm going to put
some how is that a good
stream branding up. Here we are. No, I'm sorry. I stopped. Oh, he's back. Shit. I didn't touch anything.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, how dare you.
Quick, everyone take off the... wait, never mind.
No bad.
I don't want to get demonetized by suggesting what we were doing while he's gone.
Shut up.
So are we ready for Matt now? We're ready for
we're always
Matt's,
ready for Matt
very first POV chapter. I was really pumped for
one of the best
one,
chapters in the book, bro.
This section is one of my favorites. This what you read.
Yeah,
the series,
the best section in the whole game series. Yeah, it is.
Book/series is one of the best sections of the whole series, right here.
Yep.
For the entire rest of the time you read this book series, Anything that has that logo on it right there is your favorite chapter.
It's true, man. Matt's chapters become like an oasis in the middle of a fucking desert at times.
So is what does that logo? Is that supposed to be Manetheren?
That's Matt's symbol basically.
Yeah, the dice.
It's a set of five. It's a set of 5 dice showing 6 pips on each of them, and that's why you know it's the best because it's got pips on the logo.
That sounds like bullshit to me, but oh, sorry.
Yeah. So, all right. So let's get into this. So Matt wakes up and he it's interesting seeing from his point of view, like what's going on. So he's like recalling. I think if I remember correctly, he's trying to discern dream from reality and reality from dream.
And he gets some right, he gets some wrong too.
Okay, I forgot what sparks that. He sees that battle. He's living that battle. I forgot what sparked that vision, or not, I don't even know if it's a vision. That battle.
That's what was happening for him. He's recalling. He's recalling what was.
He's recalling Aemon. He's recalling the battle of, probably Aemon or one of Aemon's generals ordering the Heart Guard, which was the sort of core of Manethren's army against the Trollocs. We don't necessarily know. This is in the chapter, right? This is right here, chapter 19, the first 2 pages. And
when he starts speaking in the old time,
I don't recall the name Aemon. In the chapter,
Aemon was
first book. Yeah, from the first book.
Exactly. Yeah. So the Heart Guard is in here, right? The Heart Guard, we knew who that was from the first books, right? So the fact that he's ordering,
I didn't even recall that. So that's a detail I must have forgot.
It's just like the elites.
So it's got the Red Eagle banner. It's got forward the Heart Guard, and for those 2 pieces, the Red Eagle, that it's Aemon or one of his generals in Manetheren. Is kind of the vision, or I suppose you could say that maybe it's not Aemon or one of his generals. It could just be someone from Manetheren from a different time period. There's a 600 year span where Manetheren is a country fighting the Trollocs, although. Generally, you'd think the Trolloc War, which was the death of Manetheren. So probably
it seems like
the last 50 years or so of Manetheren. So that's why I said it's likely to be a general of Manetheren, maybe Aemon.
So the Trolloc Wars, I'm assuming there might be more light shed on it, but was that supposed to be like a last battle?
Or no, it's just where they got grumpy and just jumped the wall.
Well, according to Pedro Nile, it was it's very similar to the last battle. If you recall from the prologue of this book, right? Because he was saying that the last battle is going to be like the Trolloc Wars, but just even bigger, right?
There
you go. Okay. So, all right. So apparently, so he basically recalls all the stuff that happened in Eye of the World and the Great Hunt, and he needs to eat. That's one of the things. It's one of the things he has to eat, like a meal for 4 every, I think 3 times a day, if I remember correctly. So, because the evil of the dagger just made him extremely emaciated.
Well, what do we know about healing too?
Healing, yeah.
What do we know about healing, right? Healing takes, more of a toll on the person being healed, right?
Because it uses your body to heal itself. Just
right.
Do it on
so the amount of healing they had to do is reflected in how much he is eating.
Yeah.
So the mass quantities of food he's having to put away just shows you that, wow, he was healed to the max. A lot.
So the healing, used all the nutrients, every single nutrient in his body to do the healing, if that makes sense. So he has to replace that. He needs fuel, in a nutshell. He's on empty.
And apparently he has to be kept under observation because, there could be a sliver of the evil of the dagger in him that they might have missed. So So once again, I feel like I'm watching like ER or a medical show right now, and just just having that type of tension there and everything. So, but yeah, I think that's more. I think it's more food he's ever seen, like beef, like real beef. He's eating real beef, like that. That's like for the rich and everything. So, but what's funny is he's not. One thing that Perrin and Rand, I think, both feel. I don't know about current Rand, but Rand and the Rand before and Perrin really want to go back home. Like they want this to be over. Matt does not seem as eager to go home this time, and I forgot why he felt that way, or if that's something we're going to find out.
I think that's just him. I mean,
Yeah.
he wants to see the world. He's out of the Two Rivers, and it's like he's the adventurer, right? Out of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Parents like the pragmatic one. Rand is just, Rand. Who's getting electrocuted?
I don't know.
Not me.
It's so weird. I wonder if that's me. Sorry if it is.
I'm not hearing anything.
It might be my stuff. Sorry. But yeah, I think that's just Matt. I mean, is it me? Can you guys hear it or no?
Yeah, I can hear that.
Yeah,
I can hear it.
Okay, sorry. I don't know if it's me or not. I'm sorry. So, yeah, I just think that's sort of just Rand. Is it? Oh, is it Napoleon? I'm sorry.
I don't know.
Do you want me to leave and come back in and see if it's me? I don't know.
No, my texts are going crazy on my phone. It might be interference there.
Oh, so it's probably you then. That sounds like back in the old days, you put your cell next to your boom box,
Yeah.
Yep. Someone picks up the phone on dial up, it screws it all up. I just turned my phone off, so it should be good.
Okay. So
So I remember reading this Nerdman, and I was thinking at the time, I remember reading through Matt's, you get a good look at Matt's sort of like his analytical process here as well, as he's trying to come out of his fog and work out what's happened over the last 2 years, the way that he thinks about the events and stuff. Like, did this happen? Did it? Oh, I've got to think about myself. What am I going to do here? Where am I going to go there? Sort of thing. Like, what does this mean for me? What does this mean for the future? What does this mean for people around me as he's trying to work it out? And this is the first time you get a look at like the strategy of his mind, to be honest, like how he thinks about situations. Like he's in this moment, he's like, I'm somewhere. I figured out I'm in Tar Valon. I don't like the witches. What am I going to do about it, sort of thing? And you can start to see the wheels, I think, and the way that RJ wrote that, I loved that. But yeah, I don't know if you noticed that, man. But this is the first introduction that we get to Matt's point of view, right? And we get like such a clear look at the mechanics of his mind. And like this is where like I don't know how you could read any other character without and not understand that Matt Cawthon is the best. Chuck out the rest.
Well, and he does the same thing in the parent perspectives. You get the idea of the clockwork of his mind, and how he's very methodical and very well thought out. And Rand is just an absolute ball of chaos in his own head, and he just trying to figure things out and why things are just so all over the map for him, and feeling like he has nowhere to go with it, because that's really that's Rand's story at this point anyway. It's just like, fuck it.
Yeah, and the distinct differences in the way that the mechanics work between them, like when you compare this, you're right, Nathan, like when you sort of compare this to the way that their parents' analysis works in his mind of his situations compared to the way that Matt goes about it in this chapter specifically, it's like, it's stark, it's so different, and it's like it's so unique. And I don't know that we really appreciate that enough, like the skill that takes. That's insane.
And yet each of them still wishes they were better at girls like the other two guys.
Yeah, I know the joke. Yeah, they throw that joke in his name as well. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, each of them are basically like, well, I mean, that one time that Rand got to motorboat Min and she didn't even know that he was awake, and Rand is like, yeah, but Matt was in that room surrounded by a circle of like 10 fine-looking women, all paying attention to him.
I know. It's like, jeez. Got to envy Rand in that time with the dump truck.
It's interesting, like how he's like one
thing
that he did think about was he did think about, like, once again, he thought about Rand and Perrin, and he just thinks about how they've changed, like Rand's the Dragon Reborn and Perrin's a yellow-eyed wolf dude.
Yeah, and his thoughts are. And his thoughts are, I'm the only sane one. What are we going to do?
Yeah. The thing is, he doesn't realize that he changed too. So
I think he realizes he's just not being honest with himself about it, which is part of his character.
Yeah. And he's just like, he still has that distrust of Aes Sedai. He's like, I want to go talk to Nynaeve and Egwene and get them to stop their training and to just come back, just leave with me. Yeah. And then we go into the next chapter, and he starts getting visitors, and he's like, oh shit, I'm naked. I gotta get dressed, because the first person that walks into his room, and I did not see this one coming, is Selene. So Selene comes in and starts saying all the same shit to Matt, saying, you are important, you are gonna have glory, and you cannot trust. So you would be wise not to trust the Aes Sedai and everything. And he's like, oh, why? And he's just like questioning her. And then she's trying to tell him, oh, they're gonna tell you, they're not gonna tell you that your father Abel Cawthon came and a certain Tam Thor tried to come and find out about you guys, and the Aes of the I think it was the Amerlin herself turned them away, or she sent what's her name, the keeper, to turn them away or something like that. And he's like, are you a dark friend? And she's like, a dark friend, those pathetic followers of Baalzamon or Ishamael or whoever I forget what the name she uses. I follow no one, but there's one person I'd stand side by side with, but not follow. And I was just like, I wonder who that would be. I'll read and find out, I guess.
Yeah.
What's your best guess, Neb?
Someone named Luz, I think. Luz Telemon Theron.
Telephone.
I don't remember that guy from the TV show, so I'm not sure he's real. Here's an interesting question, talking about Matt as the unreliable narrator. Which character do you guys think has the most unreliable narrator?
Matt, because he's bullshit himself constantly.
You think Matt? Okay.
Yeah.
Egwene, because she's psycho.
That's a toss up.
When does I have to ask? When does the psycho Egwene start to?
It's already there. It's already
book one.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, but
I want to go on an adventure.
Okay, okay, fair. But like, I haven't really. I don't know. I haven't really.
Sorry.
I mean,
there's
done a few stupid things, but I haven't really.
There's a point where now look, I know that there's the big who's worse, Egwene, Elaine debate out there. They're both bad in their own rights.
It's not really a debate.
I think it is, because Elaine's bad too. She's terrible. but Egwene goes off the fucking deep end, and it happens. She just, I don't want to ruin it, but she just basically ignores her whole crew.
So here's I think the thing with Egwene, and this is what's present now, is that Egwene is, I think Egwene is legitimately a psychopath. In the clinical definition, right? Where like
that may be true, but what has she done to this point to give you that?
And that's my point, is that at this point she's a psychopath with no power.
But why is she
And
psychopath?
later,
why is she a psychopath now? I agree with
Why is
that.
she a psychopath now? I'm not seeing it.
I think that you can already start to see it with her some of her comments about the healing with Matt, some of the way that she like talks about
she is drawn to
other girls
or that Saidar. She is like she wants it. She wants it.
I would say even the way that she like is dealing with her sort of like PTSD, if you will, is that's not the way a normal teenage girl would be dealing with that situation.
I don't know, man.
Has no, I think, and also I'll also put it this way, that I definitely think she's a psychopath later. You don't become a psychopath. You either are or you are not. And so this is reading her psychopathy into these books. But I do think it fits. She's just a psychopath that has been raised to be like a nice sort of like, meek little village girl. And then later she breaks out of that that requirement. And then later she gets power, and then all bets are off, and she's
Well, and to kind of defend that point, her actions at Falme and right outside of Tar Valon are
just
kind of
she has good
it's an indiscriminate action that just boom. Which is why she got dressed down by Varen outside of Tar Valon for her stupidity.
Yeah, but isn't that so? Hold on, is that really psychopathic behavior, or not wanting to be captured because I have PTSD behavior?
It's PTSD behavior, and it's how you would react to. Pips, come on, man.
Like if
you had the collar, you wouldn't be going back.
Well, I mean, think about the description that is given of Aes Sedai that have been collared, and the feeling of just like. Not only are they now prisoners, but they can't touch Saidar on their own.
I think that you guys are attaching a negative to being a psychopath that I'm not attaching to it.
Okay, that's
psychopathy doesn't make you a bad person. There are plenty of psychopaths who live totally normal lives, who like conform with society. And there's an author who wrote a book. Yeah. There's an author who wrote a book about psychopathy, and he came up with the psychopath test or something like that. And then he tested it on himself, and he realized that he passed the psychopath test himself, and then dug into his family history and found out that he had multiple serial killers.
I guess that's true. Psychopath. Some of the worst psychopaths on the planet have accomplished a lot in their lives, and so I guess I get where you're coming from in that.
So she's not an evil person, but she is a psychopath. That's just my take on it.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. I think you could I'm not going to disagree with you where she ends up, but yeah, right now I think she's just a bitch with the potential to become a psychopath.
All right, she's an S.
And she shows
bitch.
this. Yeah.
Are we all willing to agree to that?
Yeah, we can agree to that. But she's also the bitch that we need. Let's just put
that. You want her on that wall. You need her on that wall.
No,
we can't say because spoilers. But
you can't.
No one else. Yeah, we can't say because spoilers, but no one else could have done what I was going to.
No. I agree with that 100%. I'm just joking around. Look, I think Egwene's arc, while she's a raving psychopathic bitch, apparently, it's needed. So is she. What she accomplishes is actually pretty crazy, and yeah.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to say it, man. Her storyline through the end of the book is probably my favorite.
I didn't take the test. I aced the test. Fucking hundo P.
He reinvented the
completely a psychopath. You got it. 100%.
Well, in my defense, the test wasn't designed for horses. I mean, like horses are naturally,
Yeah, if you get a psychopathic horse, there's only one way to deal with that.
Ooh, give it the Egwene test. Wow. Oh, sorry. I'm kidding.
I'm kidding. All right. So to keep things moving. Celine leaves after Matt's like, I don't know. Well, you better think about it, dude. And then she leaves. And then we get the Amyrlin and the Keeper show up, and they're just like, you gotta eat. You're not leaving. You're staying, and you're gonna eat. And if you don't, you're going to starve to death. So I liked this particular chapter. I liked how Matt tries to test the Amerlin by basically talking about his dad and about Brand's dad to get her to admit get them to admit that they indeed did show up.
Well,
So
she only admits that it was his dad, not Rand's dad. And I think he doesn't he make a comment about that?
He does. He tries to.
Yeah, he comes back and then talks about Tam, doesn't he? I think after.
Yeah, he talks about Rand. He's like, Brand's dad would miss him too, right? Yeah. Right.
Dude, how fucked up is that they didn't tell him their parents came all the way from the Two Rivers to check on him.
Yep.
And they just sent him away. Like
they came an entire month's journey
to just be like, nope, bye. God, like that just sums up Aes Sedai right there. It's like, oh, your sons were dying when they left our village, and we're bringing them here to save them. I don't know what happened to them. You can fuck off. It's like, what? It's like no, just you can go.
I told them we've already got one.
Like that, just like literally that sums up Aes Sedai. Just like nobody matters what Aes Sedai. Aes Sedai are the only ones that matter. Everybody else doesn't matter.
Everybody's beneath them, basically.
Oh, like in the ground beneath them, they don't care about anybody but
yeah. I will say I love.
Go ahead.
I love when we start to learn about their dads, right? So we talked a lot about like the desecration of Matt's dad in the show. Matt's dad is a freaking awesome dude.
Yeah, we learned quite a bit.
After we start to learn about it, and you're just like, man, you know what? He seems like a good dude. Seems like a real good dude.
Thor is a freaking badass in his own right too. Like Tam, man. Like in that, okay, I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna go too far, so I'm gonna zip it because.
But when you get there, though, I mean, it's like what you find out about those characters, and what that informs you then further about the main characters that we're following in this story. It's such good, enriching world building and character building that you're just like, yeah, somebody try and write something like this now. There's nobody that can do this.
Hey, can I ask one quick question before we continue?
Go ahead.
Who on the panel told me that Crossroads of Twilight wasn't as bad the second time around, or listening to it? You're a dirty liar.
I'm not a dirty liar.
Why are you playing me, Nate?
No, I said that.
I know it wasn't me.
I didn't hate it. Just listen through, man.
We're just talking about Aes Sedai, so it's like it's good to show you how much they suck. We'll just leave it there.
Yeah, true.
Are you saying that's the one book that Rafe may be able to improve on, Steve?
No, he can't do
put it in.
Wait, that's already what he's showing. That's basically the whole show.
He had
Aes Sedai
politics, 6, and it was shit. It was the worst ones of the show.
All right, sorry. Let's get back on track.
Actually, is a fair adaptation of Crossroads of Twilight. It's the worst. It's the worst one. Yeah. I mean, but that's where the similarities ended.
So the last thing in this chapter that Amerlin brings up, she or I forget. Like I think he asks about Rand, and they send. She sends her keeper away, Lean, and to get him some pie. Love a good pie right now, but yeah, they're like, oh, we haven't seen Rand since Feldara and everything, so yeah, we'll keep you apprised. But then she asks, and this is where it gets really tense right here, and she's like, don't play games with me, boy. What do you remember? You remember the Horn of Valere, right? You remember blowing it, right? Yeah. And then she's like, you're bound to that thing, right? That means only you can blow that horn and release all the heroes to fight in the Tarman Gaidan.
Until you die.
Until you die. And he's like, blood and ashes. Blood and fucking ashes. Or he doesn't say that, but. And he's just like, oh shit, fuck, I'm in this.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And then he's just like, oh my god. He's just like, oh my god. I'm stuck between Celine and I'm stuck between the Aes Sedai. Why can't I understand? Why can't I know women as well as Matt and Aaron?
I mean, this is all good stuff, but we're like edging ourselves here for like the best chapter in the book. So
yeah,
like,
we are.
You know, I think we just
skip
patter.
the acceptance test stuff or what?
So
no, I mean, okay,
so
we got to talk about the accepted test because
we got to talk about we have to talk about the chapter before that. My good
the
lore,
dreams.
right there.
Yeah,
so,
yep. That's
the dreams. Yeah, the Teleron Riyadh. Teleron Riyadh.
Can we skip to the yard?
You got that. You got that right, mate. That's 100% correct.
Like I said, pitter patter. Let's do it. But we're apparently going to talk about Egwene's accepted test because Jonathan's
we saw that on TV. Can we not
we did
talk
see it
about
on
it?
TV. We did. Do you know, when me and Max were listening to this, he paused it. He was supposed to be asleep by this stage, but he paused it after the first part of her accepted test, and he goes, "That was in the show. That was like what? What?" I was like, yeah, you're not wrong. It was.
It's 1-to-1 her accepted test almost like to the name of the baby, but
it is.
Sorry, go ahead. We don't have to. Let's not get distracted because oh my god, her accepted test. What about it? It sucks. She sucks. No, I'm kidding.
So apparently, before even going into that, I wanted to say so just to understand. So apparently, there's lots of worlds. Lots of could be worlds, would be worlds, whatever. And the Dark One and the Creator exist in all of these. And so the Dark One is a paradox. So when the Dark One gets released in one, he's released in all.
This is Varen's understanding. Yeah, she's given Egwene a metaphysics lesson here, basically. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And apparently, she brings up this world, this Teleron Riyadh, that also exists. Is like a world of dreams that exists in every world or universe or whatever, and it's real. Like if you go to sleep with this, I believe the Terangrial read or the ring, that stone ring or something. You don't even have to be a channeler. I think anybody can access this world with that Terangrial. And I think, or you have to be a dreamer.
I don't think you have to be.
You don't have to be a dreamer. No, the ring gains you the ring basically gives you access. Yeah.
So
if you know how to use it. But,
yeah. So I guess we'll get to that. We'll get to that chapter when we get to it. But yeah. So she leaves Varen's, and then they go for the accepted tests. Yeah. So we get to see Rand and Egwene have a baby, and
we do.
And then he has headaches, and she leaves. Yay!
And she says, "This is not what I want, because it's all about what Egwene wants."
Yeah.
This is not what Egwene wants. What about what she wants?
I mean, they left the part in the books out about how Rand saved the world with feminism. I don't know where it's not on the pages that I read. I don't know where that happened, but you're right. And also, Alana points out that there's some kind of weird resonance like before the accepted test, which is worth noting.
And then, of course, we get the one in Camelin. So apparently, Camelin is completely in ruins. The city's on fire, and there's patrols of Dark Friends and Shadow Spawns hunting Rand. We find out Rand is pinned to the ground by a large structural beam. And if he attempts to move the beam himself, or Egwene tries to do it, the whole thing's going to come down on them. And he's just like, "You're going to have to kill me. You have to hit me right in the heart. You're going to have to stab me, or these Shadow Spawn are going to turn me to the shadow. They're going to turn me to the dark side. And if I go insane in that process, I'm not going to be in control at all."
Mm-hmm.
So he's like, kill me, and then she's like, no, and then she flees and runs away into the portal. And then we get the third. So I forget. So the three tests. So the first test is what was
past, present, future, basically. Yeah.
So
the second one.
So what? So, but I'm trying to understand. So we see a version of the future in the first one where it was like an old desire, an old or a past expectation.
Yeah, it's
is that how is that basically what they mean by what was?
It's like for Egwene, this is what could have been if choices had been different for you, perhaps. It's very much all maybe. It's very much all maybe. But yeah, this is a life that she could have had, but she can't in this age now.
And then why was the second one what is? Because that seemed to be kind of down the line too, in a destructive.
I've always read this as like this is the maybe like the path that is most likely right now.
What I read this is Aes Sedai don't know what they're using for what they're supposed to be using it for.
Yes.
My take is they're visiting other dimensions. She's going into the bodies of other Egwenes where things are currently taking place. And once again, Aes Sedai are using Terangral, which they always do, incorrectly for the incorrect things, for the wrong things, which makes them
like it's been said, they don't understand. They don't understand
half the stuff they're using.
So I don't think it's in going into the bodies of other people.
Well, I mean, maybe not into the bodies, but
the reason I say that is that Nynaeve versus Arengar. Or sorry, it was not Arengar. Shoot, Agenor. Agenor would have destroyed Nynaeve.
Oh, yeah.
There's no world where
so maybe not into another body, but like another reality. They're like watching TV. Like
I think they're sort of there's a name for this that is maybe similar that we get later in the books. It's like a constructed sort of private dimension that it exists while you're in it, and then potentially ceases to exist when it ends, right?
You're talking about dream shards, yeah? I think that's what it is. They're like dream shards. That's what I think.
So the bottom line is I think that it does create these things. I think that you're right. The Aes Sedai don't know what they're talking about because, again, looking at comparing Nynaeve's to Egwene's, the first is for what was, the second is for what is, the third is, what may be or something like that. Like, that's just shit that they have said as part of their little ritual or something like that. Like, it kind of works, but
it didn't even make sense to me. And I'm just a dipshit from Chicago.
I think
it's Aes Sedai don't know what they're doing.
Yeah, I think it's another view of them using something for a ritual that they want to do that fits with their teachings. That they are using dangerously and wrong.
Yeah. And also, it also talks about it shows you your fears. They have at least 2 or 3 different descriptions of what this thing is supposed to be doing.
It's like, don't channel inside. Why? Well, because it burns people out. Well, why? We don't know. Oh, you're using.
And that's like I channeled inside. How did you not get burned out? I don't know. I'm just some dipshit from Chicago.
It's like why? Well, why? Don't ask why. Just do. But why? Well, I don't know. It's like, okay, then that seems pretty dangerous.
Plus, they don't talk to each other about what happens in there as well, I guess. So, like, not only are they not using it correctly, I think you're right about that, but they also have like no communication about what it is to figure out how to use it correctly.
Can you imagine why there's so many runaways if that's what they're doing to the novices? These are young girls. Like,
they give them 3 chances. They give them 3 chances.
But could you imagine like if it wasn't, just think of what they went, both of them, Nynaeve and Egwene, go through in their accepted trials. Many people be like, no, this shit ain't for me. I'm out of here. Yeah. Like on the first one, they don't need 3. Like, it's brutal.
Yeah, and Aldan makes a good point. They don't talk about it. So how in the world would you learn about it? Well, you would talk about it. Well, they just don't do that. It's just like,
are they not? I forget. Are they not allowed? I forget. Are they not allowed to talk about it, or do they just don't because it's just that fucked up?
I think it's tradition. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
It's not a hard and fast rule. I don't think it doesn't
yeah.
explicitly
Well,
say
it's
that.
it's all about the things when they're pouring the water over top of them after they exit each one. And
It's supposed to be like a
they've been washed
baptism.
clean.
Yeah, baptism.
They're washed
Yeah.
clean. You don't talk about the things in the past. It's really you're a brand new person once you exit out of the first one, then the second one, then the third one.
I see.
Yep.
You want to talk about the third one?
I agree with what Jonathan said before. I think the third one is the most impactful. The first two are just showing that Egwene is going to choose other things over Rand. It just kind of shows you again,
She's
like
already done it. She would do it now.
she's rejected Rand completely, kind of at this point. Like she's now on her own thing. Screw that dude, you know.
Yeah. Like she barely.
Like you kind of already know that, right?
Yeah,
you sort of already know that. Yeah.
Yeah, but
the
she's
third
not,
one.
She's not.
The third one's got the most meat on it, and it's got some good stuff. It's got her contemplating if it would be worth it to destroy the power of the White Tower in order to save Rand. It's got her looking at Elida and like all this stuff going on.
Yeah, this was interesting. This was very interesting. I mean, I even reacted to it, and like, how often do I react on our little Discord group? Saying holy shit, this.
You didn't react
yeah, like
on the first chapter in a section, so
this is a good chapter, but the first time you read it,
I did react to it. I did.
You reacted to this chapter. You didn't react to the best chapter that we're talking about tonight.
I did react to the best chapter. You guys didn't respond to me.
Fake news.
I think
you are fake news.
So what did you take out of the third arch, man? What did you take out of it?
I did say something about it. I did say that. I was walking. I was listening to it and I walked, and I was listening to that chapter, and
answer Aldan's great question, and I will tell the audience how drunk I am that I forgot you asking a question.
All right, sorry, Alden. What was your question?
What did you take out of the third arch? What did you take out of it?
I was just like, I'm like, I'm wondering if this is going to happen. If Egwene's going to be the Amerlin, if something's going to happen. It's made me wonder if something is going to happen to Siuan down the line. And I mean, Elida, and it just says there's a lot of foreshadowing. I think Elida is going to be doing shit pretty soon as well. I don't know if she's black. She's not necessarily Black Aja, but I think she's going to be doing some shit.
Like what?
With Rand. She's going to be doing stuff. She's going to be responsible for some stuff going on with Rand down the line.
Interesting.
So, and I don't know if, and I think something like this might happen. I don't know if it's going to happen. It's probably not going to happen exactly like this, but I think something like this is going to go down.
Well, we learn here that you can be turned as well, and how that happens or whatever. Too.
Yeah.
Which is good information that you need.
Yep.
13.
Yep.
I thought that was in the second test where you learned that you can be turned.
That's the third one.
Both. Rand mentions it, but you kind of see it in the
Which is a cool scene, man. With Egwene busting out of that. That's a cool scene.
I need to understand.
Scene to see Rand do in the TV show.
So I need to understand what is
he has his acceptance test.
All right, so maybe if this is a read and find out, let me know. But like they talk about 13 Myrddraal and 13 Black Aja. Myrddraal, what are the Myrddraal? Is this a read and find out?
Myrddraal, Fades, Lurks, the Eyeless.
Yeah. Why are they connected to the Black Aja? Is that a read and find out?
Why are they connected?
The Black Aja are connected to the Dark One. Fades connected to the Dark One. It's
Oh, is that what it is? Okay, I wasn't sure.
So It's just that there's a force there, and I don't know if it's trying to connect that in a way that maybe it's pseudo representative of the Murdral being their warders or something. But either way, you run up against a group of 13 Black Aja and 13 Murdral, which are hella hard to kill. You just fucking run.
I mean, unless you're young Bull, and then you just kind of chop his leg off, chop his head off, but move on.
Yep, that's right. That's what you do when you're the best character in the series.
Yeah, super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Oh boy, so I think this is where my notes kind of end. So yeah, so like they're about to gentle Brand, and she's like, I'm gonna probably take all of them on, and then here's the thing I forgot to bring up. Throughout the entire third test, so throughout the first two, we hear, the way back only comes once, be steadfast.
Yep.
And throughout this thing, she hears a little bit of it, and then less and less and less, and then we hear something else like beware the Black Aja. I forget exactly what was said in its place, but all the other thing that, to answer your question now, Dan, is that I think the Black Aja are fucking with this particular thing somehow, this particular test, this particular trial somehow. And we know there's a problem because she hears it as she's going, as the portal opens, she can hear Suwan and Alana.
Yeah, she's getting a crossover of the dimensions, so to speak.
Yeah.
So, okay.
It kind of explains this in the next chapter, though, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. The next chapter. Mm-hmm. So the hold, burn you or I'll gut you like sturgeons. That like going wild, mother, we can't. The voices faded to a drone, the drone to silence, but the unknowable spoke again. The way will come back but once. Be steadfast. And then there is a price to be Aes Sedai. The Black Aja waits. With a screamer raised, lost, she goes through the door, right? So that's the only part where like something else comes in. The rest is, can't hold much longer. If she does not come out now, hold, burn you, I'll gut you like a sturgeon, all that. And then she comes out, and you realize that like the Amerlin and the Keeper are there, and they start talking about how like the Terangrial was going wild, that they were barely able to control it. It was having this reverberation. It was, all sorts of craziness going on. And like we know, and Egwene knows, because she's an idiot, but she's a smart idiot. So she figures it out, which is another piece of why I think that it is related to dreams versus Portal Stone Dimension, because the explanation about the interaction between two Terangrial that have similar purposes. So that's the other reason I think that it's a dream that she is entering, or a construction within the world of dreams, which, like I said, there's some explanation of that later in the series. I won't go into it. It's not super, spoilery, but like you'll find out more about dreams later, obviously.
Yeah, but she takes that on totally herself because of the presence of the Terangrial. But but Brian brought up a consideration that perhaps the Black Aja did throw something in there, and it's kind of cast off, to the side. So
you think there was another thing other than the ring that she brought?
Not another thing, but someone possibly conducting some nefarious.
I think. The Aes Sedai can see each other's beliefs, right? Like, I think that.
Sorry, what I
missed? I think it's in her head. I think she's being paranoid, like Aldan said, because the Aes Sedai, they can see what each other's doing. They all know what they're supposed to be doing. If the Amerlin showed up and it's like, why are you channeling fire into this? Like,
I just assumed, why did it go wonky? I assumed it was the ring.
It was the ring.
Yeah.
And the only reason that I have in explanation for why I think it's just the ring and it's not a sabotage, no one threw like another Terangrial in there, was that Egwene walks into the room.
Which ring again?
The Twisted Stone necklace, or the Twisted Stone ring, the dream ring.
I thought she left it. She left it out with her stuff. No. she was
It's in
worried.
the room.
Yeah,
She was worried that it was that
she didn't
someone was
wear
going to
it.
pick it up. She didn't take it in with her.
I know,
She didn't.
but it's just the
It's
being
no,
in the
not with
same
her, but it's in the
vicinity.
room.
Oh, you mean in
It's-
proximity
soon
to
as-
the other Turan Grial. Oh.
As soon as she enters that room, Alana says like straight up, like there's a resonance or whatever, and then she
Yes.
goes in. And even at the end, like even in this chapter we're talking about, like Alana is like, "This is my fault. I'm gonna go do penance or some shit," which was pretty funny. If you think about
Yeah,
it.
and
Yeah.
I liked how
And Egwene, the psychopath, doesn't say anything.
Yeah, so there's an argument in your favor. Yeah.
I liked how Egwene was
like,
thinking
yeah,
maybe
Lana,
she's
like-
Black Aja too because she wants to be near me. She wants to keep
Yeah,
an
which
eye
she
on
worked.
me.
Yeah, that's
Wait, yeah, so man, self-absorbed, psychopath number 2, right there. Ooh.
Yeah,
Pips is getting points.
Alana then goes and takes both of her gay warders with her into some other room to take penance.
So is Alana the one that had the
probably not dead
the two friendly warders with each other? Not that there's anything wrong with that
in the show, yeah. In the
Yeah, but
thing,
that's not how
Not
they
that there's anything wrong with it.
No, of course, but that's what they'd be doing for sure.
yeah. Isn't this Alana's first appearance in the book?
I don't know.
No, it's
No?
something.
She was in Faldara.
Yeah, but she didn't do anything really, right?
Well, she was on the boat as well. She taught Egwene and Nynaeve on the River Queen.
Okay, well, not doing much.
Sure.
And she gives the Gwen. Is this where she?
I mean,
talks to
she's
Gwen-
Green Aja. Green Aja is the most worthless Aja in the entire book series.
But they're the but they're the wait, but wait a minute, they're the battle Aja. They're the counter. They're the counter to the Black Aja or whatever she said.
If they don't know how to battle, yeah, they can't battle.
Ask Malkier how that worked out.
Oh, yeah.
Well, like the battle Aja, they can't battle. They can't use they can't use weaves against anybody except for the shadow. They can't battle anything.
They can't Aja.
They can't battle. All they do is take warders and be like, "Oh, you're good at sword fighting."
That's true. They probably have some good secret weaves.
Who knows? I have a super fire. Woo!
It's the psychopath Aja because Egwene starts asking about it and wants to join.
True.
That's true. She does. She does.
I think Jonathan R is the best one. Yeah.
All right, so we are at the chapter. We are at the chapter that everybody loves, and because of this, I decided, you know what, I might as well bring Alex into the fold right now. Oh, sorry.
Yes.
Glad to be here.
What's up, Alex?
Not much.
The
Fucking
smartest
jacked for
white
this one.
He's not the most knowledgeable. That's Dane. Dane is weird. He's got the encyclopedia brain. He's the smartest white cloak, though.
Yes, he is the smartest white cloak.
If y'all say so, I'm not sure I agree, but I'll take the compliment.
So then, Pips, what does that make you?
I've seen the draft of his parent video. It's very smart.
So Pips, what does that make you?
The horse's ass.
The psychopath, the muscle.
He said it. He said it.
Not there's anything wrong with
that. That's what I was waiting for, Brian. Thank you. Goodness, man.
Hey, they're people too. So, all right. So, Alex, how you doing?
I'm doing well.
How's your weekend been?
It was good. Yep, Mother's Day. So shout out to all the moms out there.
Amen.
Yeah, happy. Oh, I forgot to wish happy Mother's Day.
Why are you saying it so weird, Alex?
What?
Sorry. There's probably more on my part than his part.
Okay. But yeah, let's fucking get into it, man. This is one of the best chapters in this thing.
This section is the best, man. The next few chapters combined are top tier.
Can't wait to see what Nynaeve does in this chapter.
It's just like
seeing it on the screen soon when she takes that sword out and beats those 5 warders with their spears. It's gonna be just like the books, bro. It's gonna be so good.
Is that what happens? Oh, okay. Yeah. I'm drinking some more, so here we go.
Yeah, that's
bourbon this time.
She's gonna steal Matt's thunder. Don't you worry about it.
So is that what that sword dagger fight with?
I think so. That's
with,
that was my
Nynaeve
prediction.
in that
Well, I think
that
we
trailer.
all predicted it. Yeah, I think we all. Well, I think I don't remember. Like I know I noticed it right away, and I think I don't remember who watched it with me. But I'm like, that's fucking Matt's scene, and they're like, what? And they went back. It's like, what the fuck? It's Nynaeve with a sword. It's like, what is happening? So
we all noticed a few things, which is that it was the hall of the tower with sand all over the floor.
Yeah, well, that's the first thing.
And then it was Nynaeve stealing Matt's scene. But it could, it could be Nynaeve's accepted test because they have to do something in place of Agenor since he doesn't exist.
Who? Yeah, Agenor. Yeah.
Who?
Yeah, so there should be no shadow spawn since he created them all. But let's not get off track. Sorry.
So I'll say this particular chapter was such a. I did not read this chapter first. I listened to this chapter. I went for one of my really late night Chicago walks because that's what I do, and I was listening to this chapter, and the moment I got back home, I looked up like quarterstaff. I was looking up videos on like quarterstaff combat, like that this chapter had such an impression on me that I wanted to learn more about the quarterstaff and the moves that went with it, just so that I could better understand the fight that Matt had with Galad and Gawain. I thought that was great. It set that up beautifully with us learning that his father was unbeatable except for maybe Tam Althor. He lost
Tam
a few
Althor.
times.
Threw that in there. Could beat everybody's ass, but Tam motherfucking Althor. It's like, dude,
the Tam fight with the sword, or do they ever say that he fought with the sword?
Well, I mean,
or did he fight with another quarterstaff?
Quarterstaff.
Okay.
Well, but also, if you think about it, so Tam, so that just
always won the archery.
That just makes Tam even more legendary. He always wins the archery. He wins the freaking quarterstaff, and he's got a heron mark blade under his bed. Like, what the fuck is up with Tam Althor, right?
Tam basically is Lan if Lan retired.
Yeah.
I mean,
Tam Big D Energy Althor. That's what the people call him. And
I mean, yeah, he was slaying them Trollocs left and right when they broke into the house on winter night. So yeah. Wait, sorry, that doesn't exist. That didn't happen.
I'm almost out of the bottom of my glass now too. You can't drop that on us this late.
Sorry. But I just like, Matt just gets up and he's just like, I have enough energy. I'm gonna get dressed, and there's nothing for me to do. I'm just gonna get up. I'm just gonna go for a walk. So this was the perfect chapter because he's going for a walk. He needs to walk. He needs to walk off. He needs to gather strength. I'm doing the same thing. Right away, I connected. Right
for a walk, but he's like scouting. He's starting to scout out like, how the fuck am I getting out of here as well?
Yeah, he goes to the guard, and I think the guard is from Tyr, so he has that weird accent, and he's just like the guard's telling, "Hey, what's on this side of the river? Oh, it's White Cloaks. Bunch of toxic White Cloaks. They're just harassing people, the neighboring villages and everything." And I forget what else he asked the guy, but yeah, they're tightening. Like they know they know that he knows that they know that they're keeping an eye on him and everything. They can't leave, so he's like fuck. But so he ends up walking around and he runs into Elsie Grinwell, and she just gives him this completely like cold
she cold shoulders him.
Yeah, she totally
cold not interaction, cold I can't think of the word, but you know what I mean.
She big times him.
Yeah. And she's like, get out of my way. I got stuff to do. And he's like, well, maybe she knows about, the fact that I had the dagger and everything. But what's funny is after this chapter, after what we learn, and in the next few chapters, this gets even weirder. It gets even weirder. That's clearly not Elsie. I think it's I don't know if it's a construction of that it was created by Lanfear or Celine, or if it's Celine just taking her form, disguises her. I am curious. But I haven't gotten that far to learn. It's just something that I'm going to have to find out.
Yep.
I'm assuming it's a read and find out.
Yeah.
No. Yes. Okay.
I mean, everything's a read and find out. All will be revealed in the end.
Oh, yeah. And so he hears clanking and he hears clanking and sounds and clacking and whatever, and he's like, "Huh, what's going on?" And he sees a bunch of shirtless dudes sparring in the yard, and he's like, "You know what? Hey, I know those two. That's Gawain and Galad. Elaine just would never shut up about them, and that's how he was able to recognize them." And he's like, and then they go up to him because they realize they know Matt is somehow. And he's like, I think I could beat you guys. You guys have the sword, but I think I could beat you with my quarterstaff. They're like, no, that would be unfair. You're weak, and we're honorable, man. We're not gonna we'll fight you. We'll fight you when you're at your top strength, and that will in our mind that'll be fair. And he's like, you know what? No, I need the money. Two for me. Two silvers for me for 2 silvers from each of you. Wager. And they're like, nah, we're not gonna do it. And then the head warder's like, yeah, you're gonna fucking do it. You are fucking. I love that. I love that. Good. That was awesome. He's like, if you two dipshits don't put up, I will put the wager down. Mm-hmm. I love that. That was just. And then we get the fight. Gawain goes down like right away. I think gets struck in the head, and then Galad gets hit in the groin, and then gets back up, and Matt is just hit parry, and then it gets to a point where he's like, okay, I got to end this, and then he takes out Galad, and Galad's in a lot of pain. All the women, the entire yard, all the Aes Sedai, everybody is watching this fight. That's how insane this is. And all the women, because Galad's the pretty one. All the women, all the was it the green Aja or the yellow or the green Aja are all
all of them
accepted. all the novices are all like, oh, Galad. They're like, can I take my money from him? No, I wouldn't take the silver from him. And the head warder, what's the name of the head warder again?
Hamar
Gaidin.
Hamar Gaidin. He spots them the silver. But the thing that made me laugh, and I did say this in the Discord because I just checked it. The thing that made me laugh was when he tells them the story of the greatest blade master of all time, Jiram, who was never defeated, but only once, by a farmer with a quarterstaff. I was like, I'm wondering if this is connected to Matt's little thing earlier. I don't know. Matt's little, experience earlier as a commander.
So I will say, repping Gadfly Fiction and a couple other people who have talked in our Discord who are kind of HEMA sort of aficionados, I think practitioners maybe to some extent. Both of them, so they've had a conversation about how traditional fantasy has brought this idea of swords being like awesome weapons, whereas historically a sword was a backup weapon for most sort of martial societies and militaries, and that spears and quarterstaffs, things like that, were actually the traditional best weapon for sort of infantry stuff. And so it's actually historically correct that a person with a quarterstaff or a person with kind of a spear is actually at a pretty good advantage against a sword. So I think that this is actually just Robert Jordan continuing to be pretty good on the kind of military history stuff, and just reminding the reader that swords are okay.
Yep.
But Matt's character has a connection with the quarterstaff, and that'll continue to be a connection. So you could be onto something.
Yep. Jonathan R in the chat calls it out. It's a Japanese parable. Basically, the life lesson is never fight anybody who has a reach advantage over you. You're gonna lose. Doesn't matter.
So is that the only real advantage? Is the reach of the quarterstaff versus the sword, or is there more to it?
You can also.
I am not a combat expert.
You can also use both ends.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you think about it, if you swing, you can basically block it and then pop back without a significant recovery.
Okay.
Time.
Yeah. Okay. Then.
So the follow through is a lot easier. It's a lot better at blocks and parries. It does have a lot better reach, and also it can be used in grapples, right? So a quarterstaff can be pretty used, and Matt does this, right? He trips them up, he overbalances them, and like that's the thing that a quarterstaff can do that a sword can't. While you keep one end aimed towards someone or prepared for a parry, you can, hit somebody else in the ankle or something like that. So the description of it, from what I understand, is actually very, very good for describing quarterstaff fighting technique.
Yeah. Well, and later when he's getting in a certain when he's leaving, there's a portion of it that's I think this is not what we're discussing tonight, but you go. Oh wait, no, it's the last chapter that we discuss. But he's using that quarterstaff, and he's mentally going through stuff his dad trained him on. You don't do this,
because his dad's
but
awesome.
It's right. It's a really good follow up with what we see here.
Oh, I forgot to bring this up. The only reason, I forgot. I laughed at this when I read this. So Galad did not want to fight Matt because he was afraid that Egwene would be pissed at him if he did.
Yep.
It's so stupid.
So I think that's the reason, maybe. But Galad also is like, his character is like, I don't think it's right to fight you because you're in this. You like just got up out of your sick bed. Like it wouldn't be the right thing for me to do to fight you.
He's honorable, right? He's very honorable.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if he existed in the I'm going to bring up another series that I like. Would he be a Stark?
Yes.
He would be like more than a Stark. He would be Ned Stark.
Ball.
Ned Stark. Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, he would be Ned. Yeah, he would be Ned.
Like actually, Ned Stark, I don't think is.
He's more Ned than Ned.
Galad is. Yeah, he's more Ned than Ned. Exactly.
Yeah.
Galad wouldn't have lied to Ned's wife. He wouldn't have been able to.
Nope.
True.
So she would have known right away about Jon Snow and all that. Whoops! Spoiler alert.
It would have been no story.
No story.
Because a lie is a dishonorable thing.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. So that was a great chapter. That was a great chapter. So just we're about we're already hour and 48 minutes, and we still have another 8 chapters to talk about. So we'll have to really skim the rest of these. So
okay, you hit the big one.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
So I forget, they're going through like the documents that Varen gave Egwene of all the Terangriels or everything. And they're trying to figure out like why they were used or why they were taken in the first place. And then they get like apparently I forget, Egwene actually has had dreams. She dreams that she dreams of Rand touching that crystal sword, so Kalendor. She also talks about Rand walking in the shale ghoul, and Rand in the Shan-Chan. And then of course she dreams of Perrin and with the Falcon and the Hawk too. I'm curious. That was an interesting one. The hawk is holding a leash, trying to fasten a collar to Perrin's neck. Sean Chan.
So if you remember, the vision Min gave Perrin before they parted ways from the Vale up in the Misty Mountains, right? Min said, "Hey, I see some signs around you," and he's like, "I don't want to hear him." And she's like, "Don't be a woolhead," and he's like, "All right, what do you see?" And it was an Aielman in a cage. It was a tinker with a sword, and it was a falcon and a hawk perched on your shoulders, fighting over you, something like that. They're both female, right? Is what she said. And then the last thing she said was, "If you ever see the most beautiful woman in the world,
run." Yeah.
Which is just classic advice for any young man. Like, if you ever see it, hot crazy scale, it never works out. She's always too crazy. It's not worth it.
Well, I'll go so far as to say, man, bad advice. The hawk can tie me up any day. Like that should have been the advice given.
Yeah, I agree, Alex.
Especially looking at the overall course of the series, like not even just making the sex joke, but like it was the correct option. He wasn't good. Should have gone the opposite way.
Okay, Aldan, you have any final thoughts? Because you gotta take off.
Yeah, I've got to go, man. I've got the other laptop's pinging at me. What was that?
Ethan's busy harvesting weapons. Sorry, go ahead.
I thought I heard someone do the "It's ma'am."
Yeah.
Yeah, he just killed
the views of the pit not represent the views of the panel.
Yeah, he just killed an ugly moblin and said, "It's ma'am," and then
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I've got to go, man. I've got some work to do. But final thoughts. This is working out really good with your rereads. Nerdman, like I said, I'm reading this book at the same time as I'm doing my reread, which I'm at the end of the Wheel of Time. I've just hit Memory of Light now. But yeah, nice. I'm reading this book as well with Max, with my son, at the same time as you're reading this one. So I'm literally reading it like at both ends at the same time, which is so cool. I've got to tell you. So I'm audio booking the whole thing with my son and reading it myself. And it's really cool. And it just works out that it's about the same spot that you are in the Dragon Reborn. This book is one of the best books in the series. And that is my final thoughts. I love this book. On this reread in particular, I loved The Dragon Reborn. Well, almost as much. It's in the top three. Yeah, it's in the top 3 books for me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
What's the rest of that top 3? What do you got there?
Lord of Chaos is my favorite after this reread on this particular
Man
reread.
of Taste, Lord of Chaos.
And I still love Towers of Midnight. I know you guys, blah, blah, Brando, Sando, whatever, but I love it. I love Towers of Midnight. And I still love it. That's probably number 2, and this will come in at number 3 as it stands now.
Towers of Midnight. That's the second to last book, right?
Yeah, I just finished it again.
Brandon Sanderson.
So you'd put Towers of Midnight above The Shadow Rising.
Yep.
Interesting.
Okay. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. But it's true. But that's all, to be honest. Like between so from the there's not much gap. There's not much gap between two. Yeah, between sort of.
There's a lot that are very close.
There is. It's like you're talking degrees of variance, but it's just that, like, I loved reading it, like parent stuff, right? That I just read. I absolutely loved it this time around, and to the point where Fael is not giving me the shits for the first time ever, like at the end of this series. But that's going to change really soon, though. I'm pretty sure again, but. Yeah, it's good, man. So look, Nerdman, I'm glad you're on this journey, mate. It's a cracker. The story hasn't even started yet, mate. You've just met the real Matt Coulson, so congratulations. Yeah,
so true.
Thank you.
So true.
Absolutely.
You just met, and it's funny. People say, I hear this all the time. People say, "Oh, this is where Matt gets a retcon or whatever." But like, I disagree with that. This is like, this is how good the writing is. That you don't even know who this character is until this point because of the circumstances in his life with the dagger and all this sort of stuff, that you just don't get an opportunity to meet Matt until right now. And it's the best thing in the world. It really is. So, I've got to go. I've got some work to do, but bon voyage, man.
Thank you. Definitely going to have you on again. Definitely going to have you on again.
Yeah.
Easy, brother.
So, sorry, I have to run too. I got to go to work. So, but Yeah, I have run out of time. So
is it because I've been because I was critical of Tears of the Kingdom? Is that what it is?
No, I have to go to work, sir. I'd rather be here.
Sure. Sure.
I'm positive. Bump
I mean,
into Papa
I can
Roach
change,
with,
Prophet. I
with
can
Moss,
change.
you
I
know?
can change, dude.
You know,
I'll do better.
You're not streaming right after this.
I'm gonna stream at work.
He's definitely gonna be streaming right after.
Yeah.
All right, Steve. Thank you for being here too, man. Go do what you gotta do.
Yeah, thanks, guys. We'll talk soon.
See you, Steve.
Take care, Steve.
Yeah, one thing I did learn about heroes is that heroes all they do is what they need to do. That's heroes according to what is it, Aes Sedai or something.
I mean, I don't think that's just according to Aes Sedai. I think that's one of the themes of the book series is that the difference between a hero and a normal person is a hero, meets their obligation, does their duty. There's another way to say that, but it's not a spoiler, but you'll learn more about it in the next book.
Oh, okay. I'm assuming Shadow Rising's in your top 3.
I feel like Shadow Rising is a great book. I think that it's hard for me to really pick a favorite book in this series. Lord of Chaos, Shadow Rising, The Great Hunt, The Eye of the World. Those are probably my top 4.
Man, no love for Knife of Dreams, huh?
But I mean, I would say Knife of Dreams is probably the next one on that list, maybe. Knife of Dreams is a lot of fun. I think though that Knife of Dreams gets a little bump because it comes after Crossroads of Twilight. So like you're reading the series, you read Crossroads of Twilight, and then you read Knife of Dreams, you're like, oh, thank God, right? Whereas like in the first 6 books are just like a tour de force, and if you can be like, man, that 4th book slapped, like it's between 2 really strong books. So it's a harder comparison, I think, for the first 6 books. And I would even say, honestly, I think the first 7, 8, 9 books are all still really good. It's just book 10, man. Book 10, book 10 was the book that Robert Jordan put into the series to separate the true fans from the fake fans. it's like were you willing to go through Crossroads of Twilight to get to Knife of Dreams? That's the test. It's the Galadriel sort of test, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow.
What, like swimming across an ocean?
No.
Yeah, just jumping into the ocean, swimming all the way.
No.
Yeah, I'm that asshole.
Yeah, the horse ride.
You were supposed to be the chosen one.
Mm-hmm.
It was said you.
I think next time Alex is in town, he's gonna fucking kill me.
Gosh, I love when Alex puts his sunglasses on to yeah.
It's a show of solidarity. We were both deeply disappointed by Nathan's comment.
Hell, I was deeply disappointed by it.
Oh man.
So
hey, Ryan, I'll let you know if Steve starts streaming Elden Ring while we're going here. So don't you worry. I'll keep a lookout, and let's continue on with our regularly scheduled broadcasting.
Yes, sir. Okay. All right. So back to chapter 25, which was kind of a slog for me. But apparently there was 13 Terangriel that were stolen, and they're trying to understand. I think they're reading, trying to understand them. They're dangerous, and one produces balefire, apparently.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, actually, I'm sorry. I had one more thing to say about chapter 24, which is that it's the worst named title of a chapter in the books. It should have been chapter 24, Matt fucking baller ass, just the amazing. Matt the incredible. I don't know.
Are you not entertained?
Scouting and Discoveries is not the chapter name for that chapter. That's all I'm going to say.
I don't. Yeah, I kind of I could feel that too. But yeah, we so apparently they get a visit from a certain Elsie. Remember Elsie? They get a certain visit from Elsie saying that there's she's I'm here because the Amerlin sent me, and they're like, why would the Amerlin send you? You're like you're the queen of blabbing. You're the blab queen. Who would trust you with anything? And she basically says, "Oh, the belongings of the 13 Black Aja are in the storeroom, in like the third room in the storeroom underneath the library, I believe."
Mm-hmm.
And then she leaves, and they're like, "Wait, wait a minute, what the fuck?" And then they go after her. They can't find her, and Egwene bumps into Lanfear or Selene, and I loved her reaction to Selene. She's like, she felt less than Selene, and she never felt that way before. So, and then she vanishes. It was a weird little scene. But I think Egwene was like, maybe I'm on the wrong side. Maybe not that there's anything wrong with that, but maybe I'm on the wrong team. You know, maybe she's really hot. She's really hot. You know, so. But something that doesn't happen that often. Thanks for subscribing, Energetic Fist. And once again, do you hear transmission, Pips? I think I hear a transmission.
I do, yeah.
All right, yeah, here we go.
I swear, if you ever show your face out there,
I won't.
ever.
I won't. I promise you.
Oh.
Oh, welcome to the Nerporial channel.
Energetic Fist have so many good things happen in his life. I mean, or her life. I don't want to assume. You know, I mean, probably gonna find a very nice gal or guy. You know, not that there's anything wrong with any of those things. I mean, just so many good things. Gonna win the lottery. Gonna get a new job. Gonna get a raise at the new job.
The
world's about to be ended.
Yep. That's the perks of being a subscriber of this channel. Wait until if you try to hit the join button, things will get even better.
Yeah, if you subscribe, your heart grows 3 sizes that day. If you become a member, something else grows 3 sizes that day.
Yeah, the thing is, once you become a member of the Continuum,
much smarter.
Yeah.
Not only smarter, but the good like Matt and Rand and Perrin, Nerdvaren is a thing. Nerdvaren just everything happens to your benefit. Things happen to your just to your benefit. It's wild. It's wild. I can't explain it. I don't fully like the Terangriel. I don't understand it, but it's real. It's real.
Okay.
I don't know. So, but welcome. So we got so they go to the so I think basically all that really happens here. These chapters were kind of rough to get through. They just simply go to the library, they go down to the basement, and they get to the room.
Well, I think so you just had a Matt chapter. Now you have a Supergirls chapter. So like it's always a letdown. The stuff you're supposed to take away from this is who was Elsa, or what was Elsa, right? And then like who or what sent Elsa. Why do they want them to know about where the stuff is, right? Because it seems like even they don't believe that the Amerlin sent Elsa, right? So something else going on there. And then, the question about Selene and like Egwene's reaction to Selene. I mean, it seems like Selene. We've seen Selene put kind of a glamour on people before. She's kind of hit him with like a mental whammy, you know. So I think that thing there where she's like, she's taller, more beautiful, like she's so amazing, I'm so terrible. She can probably channel more than one power than I can. She's probably smarter than all three of us put together. Isn't it fair that one woman could have so much? Like it's just comical.
Yeah.
So
yeah, poor Egwene. It's just not easy being Egwene. So so they go to the they go down to like the dungeons underneath the library. And the one thing that kind of stood out to me was that, hey, if we scream down here, nobody would hear anything. So I was like, is he setting something up? Are they going to be attacked? Didn't happen, but I was kind of on the edge of my seat here. And they find the door that Elsie was talking about. Nynaeve uses her Sith anger to and her ability to channel, make a lever, pry the door open, and then they find the 13 bags of the 13 Aja, and all the bags basically say, hey guys, we're going on vacation to Tyr. Come and join us. We're going to Tyr. And they're like trying to think, what is this, a trap? Is this do they just not care? Are they that overconfident? Are they that far ahead of us that we cannot stop them? And I believe ultimately they decide to spring the trap, assuming it's a trap. It's a trap.
Mm-hmm.
And Admiral Akbar is not even in this.
Yeah. Yep. I think you're reading it correctly.
So trying to remember what happens after this.
So the next chapter, Tel'aran'rhiod.
So that she goes to they're working in the kitchens, and then Tel'aran'rhiod, and then she ends up like in a Rolling Hills. I think she starts off in Rolling Hills or something, and I think then she just appears in a house, and she sees Perrin, and Perrin is guarded by a wolf, and I believe he wakes up, and the wolf is about to maul the shit out of her, and we find out that wolf is Hopper. He's like, no, Hopper, don't. And then she flees, and now she's somewhere else. She's in the forest, and then she's in the forest with Rand. Rand's sitting at a fire, and he thinks she's an agent of the Dark One, and she's there to kill him. And she's trying to use her typical, you listen to me, Rand al'Thor, I'm not playing around with you. And he's just like, he's like, you're the evil one. I'm gonna kill you if you come near me and everything. So she ends up she tries to channel. She tries to hold him.
Yep, she tries to grab him.
The same is it the same thing that Leandrin used on him? The same spell?
Yeah, the same
weave to mobilize him.
Yes.
And he counters it. He's just like, he just smacks it away. And she's like, oh shit. And she flees. She gets out of there.
So what he did is he basically cut the weaves, right? And what that does, and you'll kind of learn this in more detail, but it makes the weaves kind of like snap back into you, like if you were holding a rope that had tension and it got cut.
Yeah.
You get that snap back on the line, and so that's why she gets basically kind of staggered backwards, and it actually even says that it felt as if a rope stretched too tight had broken and snapped back into her, is the description that it gives. So it's literally that same metaphor. So
yeah, and then we get to the meat of this part right here. So she's now in So she now finds herself in a room, a great hall with plenty of, yeah, with that massive, with that high sword right there, the Kalendor. And we meet another character named Sylvie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And Sylvie is ugly as shit. An old like one of the probably one of the witches from Macbeth type of ugly. And she basically, Sylvia kind of explains what the sword is. That it's being guarded, or it's being guarded by both Sidene and Sidar, the male and the female half of the power. And then I think she talks about, she's like, I think that she tells her to just like to say fuck Balsamon, or something, or I forget exactly what I forgot that conversation. I read that yesterday. I was running through a whole lot, so memory overload. So, but we get so apparently someone else is looking for the sword, and then Egwene just leaves. And then she's like, how do I get back? Like, what the hell do I do have to get back? And then Sylvie says, take your ruby slippers and, tap them 3 times and say, there's no place like home. There's no place. Okay, I was kidding. Okay, that's Wizard of Oz. She touches, so basically Sylvie touches the stone ring, and Egwene wakes up in pain or something. So she tells them, she wakes up, and she tells them all about what she saw with Perrin, but she didn't say anything about what happened with Rand, I don't believe. And so once again, everything, all roads point to Tyr at this point. So everything. So they're like, okay, we now know what we need to do. Just like the Great Hunt, we have to go to this place to do this. So like they had to go to Falm in the Great Hunt. Now they have to go to Tyr in this book. And just because of the fact that they have to go to just the single fact that they have to travel from one place to another, that makes this book, The Dragon Reborn, the same book as The Great Hunt.
Clearly.
So Rafe is totally right. If that's not a hot take, then I'm not a dipshit from Chicago.
Wow. Regardless of whether or not it's a hot take or not, this is one of my favorite chapters, actually. Because Egwene basically just gets bitched 3 times in a row very quickly.
Yeah. And so they're like, okay. It's going to be me and Nynaeve. Elaine, you're going to have to stay here. She's like, no, I want to come with. Oh, well, we'll send Matt to leave a message. Yeah, Matt. Knock, knock, knock. Matt, how are you, Matt? We haven't visited you, but hey, we need you to do something for us. We need you to take a letter. We need you to take a letter, right? You want to get out of here, right? Take a letter. He's like, I don't know. You take the letter. Okay, fine. Why can't I understand women? Why can't I be as good with women as Rand and Matt, or not Rand and parents? Sorry, excuse me. I think that's pretty much chapter. That's pretty much the next chapter. So, just kind of skipping really quickly. So,
I still like the middle thoughts that he has as the conversation's going on. He just kind of looks at me like, I wonder if she likes to dance.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like the stuff where Elaine is like, are you a loyal subject of Andor? Do you not wish to serve the Lion Throne? And Matt just laughs at her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So good. Yes. There's some good stuff in this chapter. I'm trying to remember. I'm looking for the spot here. Does Matt convince them to give him some money too?
Note. I think he does, doesn't he?
I kind of thought.
I think
no, he asks and they don't have any.
Yeah,
that's right.
But he's like, fine. I want to get the hell out. I want to get the hell out of here anyways. So you know what, your wants actually coincide with mine.
So he Trip asks if one of the letters gets him money. So he only gets the one letter
from
to get him
Suwan.
out of the city. The other he doesn't open. It's for Moraine. Well, at this point he doesn't know what's in the letter. It's for Morgaze. But the one that he does read is what the bearer does is done at my orders and by my authority. Obey and keep silent at my command. Swan Sanche, Watcher of the Seals, Flame of Tarval, and the Amaryllis Seat. So that one is pretty open ended. He potentially could have gone into a bank and been like, "Give me some money."
Yeah, but empty the vault.
Yeah, but I think that any banker would have been like, "Yeah, sure, I'm just going to send a runner real quick up to the White Tower just to verify that everything's ordered." I think that he correctly understood that, like, I probably get one shot at using this letter. It's like I can get myself out. I can hopefully get onto a boat. And that's kind of about it. So
this one always cracks me up because it reminds me of the Parks and Rec thing where Ron Swanson says, "It's okay, I have a permit," and it's just a piece of paper that says, "I can do whatever I want."
That is, yes, yeah. So I remember watching a YouTube channel where the guy was reading this series, and like this whole section apparently like really pissed him. The guy like read this book and stopped reading. He's like, I'm not going to read any more in the series because of things like that letter, because of things like the Black Aja and stuff like that. So there's a surprising number of people who I think have a hard time understanding that, like, yeah, letters like this are relatively appropriate given the time period that this was done in, right? Like, people didn't have photo IDs, and at this point in time, they don't know. Oh, there's some other stuff about the person's problems with it. But anyway, I think that there's some really bad takes that people have had with some of these chapters. Whereas I read these chapters, I just think it's just a good ride. Like it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I agree.
So I find that to be an absolutely insane take, and this point was brought up to me. It was an argument about gun control. Somebody was saying, the founding fathers.
The panel do not represent the views of Nerdporial. Okay, sorry, continue.
The argument was basically you shouldn't have AR-15s because the founding fathers could never conceive of a semi-automatic rifle. And the comment was, this was the letter that the founding fathers wrote to a guy who owned a private battleship, telling him he could do whatever he wanted, so long as he destroyed a bunch of British ships. So, like, first of all, the gun control argument is terrible on that basis. But second of all, yes, letters saying you can do whatever the fuck you want absolutely existed basically in this time period. So the ridiculous thing to argue against in this book.
It's funny. My first exposure to this type of thing, letters of from royalty giving you permission to do anything. And Nathan, you should appreciate this. Ocarina of Time. You get a letter and you have to show it to a guard in order to access Death Mountain in that game. So there you go.
Right.
And I may or may not have done a retrospective on that. I don't know. I might have. I don't know.
You might have.
But
it might have been pretty damn good too.
It might be something people should go watch.
You might your beard might grow 3 inches just watching that.
Yeah.
It's that long? Is it that long of a video?
It's 5 hours. The entire thing is 5 hours.
The thing that I can add to what you were saying, Alex, was so I did an internship a long time ago at the Army War College's research library, and worked with a lot of like old documents and stuff like that. And even up to like the American Civil War, the American Revolution, things like that, it was fairly common for exactly like this, where like it doesn't say the name of the person. It says the bearer of this message, right? Because the authentication is the signature and the seal and stuff like that is on it, right? And it was implicit to the person that you gave it to, like, if you're going to get captured or something like that, like, destroy this, like, eat it, burn it, throw it in the river, like, do something, right? Because again, there's no such thing as identities, right? Like, there's no such thing as, ID cards or whatever. Like, you show up, and if you haven't been in that town before, no one knows who the hell you are, right? So it doesn't matter if it says, hey, Pips can do whatever he wants, because like that means nothing to the person. The thing that matters is the sender, not the recipient, right? So it's just kind of an interesting, like, yeah, again, Robert Jordan being correct on historical kind of, formulations.
Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, I didn't think of it that hard until now. So
he's like, I don't know why I invite these people on my channel.
That's not what I was gonna add. I learned something,
talking about history books.
Nothing wrong with that. Every time Pips says a sentence, I have to look up a new vocabulary word every time, because he likes to use special words.
No, just wait till you start watching the rewatches.
Yeah. Oh, like I have to have my phone on hand every time. Like, okay, what does this mean?
You'll need to get the new Dane to English translation books.
I was gonna say, you watch the rewatches, it's more like watching Joe Biden. It's Shimon and my vegetable depression.
Excuse me. The views of the individual don't represent the views of the panel.
So I'm reasonably certain
or the
chat.
I agree.
Look, I think we all can acknowledge that the greatest threat to Randland is the White Tower. So,
I like how you said the White Tower. So
it's true.
Shit.
It's because it's got that tower privilege.
I mean, there is privilege in that tower. I mean, like Matt's like, holy shit, what is all this? So,
all this steak,
beef and potatoes. Holy crap, that's for a king, So, so I think this final chapter was pretty funny because they're working in the kitchens. This particular, and these final 4 chapters I read today, so they're a little bit more fresh in my head, so that I didn't forget them yet, thank God. But it reminded me because my first job when I was a kid was working in the kitchen. So I was doing scrubbing kettles, and I was mopping floors, washing pots and pans and dishes, and serving food. This was at a nursing home in the neighborhood, and so reading about them doing all the duties was just kind of brought me back to simpler times, I'll say. But I liked how like the Amerlin seat just comes in, and this is Nynaeve's point of view. So Nynaeve is like, don't say anything, Egwene, don't say anything, and they try to say something when the Amerlins just starts barking at them, and she's like, we meet this new character. We meet the head of the kitchens. I think her name is Laris. And she takes both Egwene and Elaine away, pulls them by the ears like she's Mo from the Stooges, and takes them away. And we find out that the Christmas story. They got the soap and they got soap in their mouths and everything. So they were taken away. So they had Nynaeve and the Amerlin could have their little talk. Amerlin cannot be too close to anyone because she's afraid that she's going to be, someone's going to be suspicious of something. So basically, Nynaeve gets, I think in this case, Nynaeve gets the Amerlin's permission to go to Tyr in this moment.
I was looking at the page here. Did you mention that it got confirmed that the Amerlin didn't send Elsa?
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah, so yeah, here's where it's confirmed that Elsa was sent back home. She did not apply herself. She just kept looking at the boys, because that's all she was interested in, and that's why they packed her up and sent her back home to her mother.
Well,
So
more than that, the stuff was supposed to be burned, and
what was supposed to be burned?
was burned.
What was burned?
So Elsa Grinwell shows up and says, "Hey, go to the 14th suppository."
Yeah,
that's not the right word, but I'm going to use it anyway. Anyway, go over there, and like there's the stuff from the Black Aja sisters that is down there. And then they ask the Amerlin, and the Amerlin's like, I didn't send anybody to tell you about anything. Also, the things Leandrin and the others left were searched thoroughly and burned afterwards. Nothing was found. So, what the hell did they search?
Stuff that was planted there.
Yeah. So, Elsa has been gone from the tower, apparently. She was sent away. The Amerlin didn't send a messenger. The stuff that was left in their rooms was all burned and didn't have anything important. But they went and rooted around in a bag that had all these names on it, that had all these clues telling them to go to Tyr.
Yeah, and that explains why they're like, why didn't the Amerlin, do anything? Why didn't the Amerlin tell us? Well, that pretty much answers that question right there. So,
what do you guys think about the Amerlin telling them what Kalendor is?
It's a story that few know. It's like the story of Darth Plagueis. I don't know. Only a few people in the tower know about it, I believe.
I think this is one of those unreliable narrator things where Swan's just like, yeah, no, cool crystal sword. Some prophecies about it. She doesn't really know any of the specifics of it that we're not going to get into because of the spoiler considerations.
Oh, I just meant that I similar to my comment about Swan leading the healing, like controlling the flows during the healing. I don't think Swan would have told him shit. It's like, why are you asking about Kalendor, stupid girl? Like, yeah, screw off. I gave you a mission about this stuff. Friggin' leave Kalendor to the adults.
Your take on it is it's questionable exposition.
Yeah, I kind of think that was. Yeah, I think it was Robert Jordan was telling the reader what Kalendor is. Is all I'm kind of.
That's fair.
So
I can see that.
Ironside is apparently leaving. See you, Jacob. Thanks for sticking around. Obviously, we are moving on to the stuff you haven't read yet. So thank you for being a responsible member of the read along community.
All right, see you, man. So. But yeah, I think this is the last chapter with the girls. So now we're all Matt here. So I don't think there was anything left, was there?
No. That's pretty much it. Yeah, they're figuring out that they were led to a trap, but they're like, well, we're gonna do it anyway. And then chapter 30, the first toss, and it's just Matt being like, all right, I guess this story is about me now. I should probably start being fucking awesome.
Yeah, I thought this was great. So he has the letter and he's like, okay, I'm gonna get ready. I mean, I know they're watching me, but I'm gonna pack up, taking all my belongings. I'm out of here. And I think he even packs the food. So he orders like he's like, hey, I want to. Hey, can you guys I'm still hungry. Can you guys keep bringing me food? I'm like, yeah, of course, yeah. And so he has all this food, packs it up, so he has enough to eat when he's on the road. He's like, I need money. I have my dice. I'm gonna play some games tonight, and he wins, and he wins, and he wins, and he wins, and he wins. And he wins, and he wins again. And I couldn't help but think of, I the way I thought of this, I told you, Pips, earlier, I was thinking Better Call Saul. I was thinking like a Better Call Saul montage where he's just winning and winning and winning and everything. Just like the way Jimmy and his buddy Marco in the first season were we're just continually ripping people off left and right, or grifting and everything. I just saw that nice little artistic little scene. That's kind of what I thought with this.
See, I always imagine the scene from The Hangover, where the short dorky one can count cards at the end, and that's how they get their $80,000 to give to Mr. Chang.
I haven't seen The Hangover.
Oh,
Great
movie.
Okay, well, unrelated to The Hangover, but equally important. I think we have 9 people watching the stream right now, and only like 4 upvotes on the video. So upvote, like, subscribe, all that other stuff.
Really, only 4 upvotes? Really?
I just hit it and it went up to 14.
Okay, well, still, see, Alex was he hadn't even hit it yet. Smash that like button.
It was a good reminder.
Thank you.
Yeah. Speaking of unreliable narrators, Pips.
No, I'm a very reliable narrator.
We did.
I will tell you when I'm lying to you.
What's funny is he's like, what is going on? He's like, what is going on with me? Like, why I like even he's like, there were points where I didn't even always have the best of luck like this. What is going on? And he thinks it's the dagger. He thinks the dagger did it to him.
Yeah, he's very concerned when people talk about the Dark One's own luck and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Something that I want to point out here, just because we're doing the Lord of the Rings book club on our channel, and we're always talking about Tolkien's poetry and the just awesomeness of all of his poems. Jordan crushes on prophecy. When you're reading the first part of these books, and you get the kind of the prophetic stuff, right? So like in this one, and I know you've read it for your channel, but I'll read it again anyway. So, and his paths shall be many, and who shall know his name? For he shall be born among us many times in many guises, and he has been and will and ever will be, time without end. His coming shall be like the sharp edge of the plow, turning our lives into furrows from out of the places where we lie in our silence. The breaker of bonds, the forger of chains, the maker of futures, the unshaper of destiny. That's just really awesome poetry. It's very descriptive and evocative. Robert Jordan can't write songs, though. All of the songs in these books are trash.
I'll dance with a girl with eyes of brown or a girl with eyes of green. I'll dance with a girl with any color eyes, but yours are the prettiest I've seen. I'll kiss a girl with hair of black or a girl with hair of gold. I'll kiss a girl with any color hair, but it's you I want to hold. Yeah.
It's just there's one exception. You two guys, you know which one I mean. All of the other songs are terrible.
Well, which is why most of the time he sits there and just covers them in song names and how they're well, in this region it's this, in this region it's this. It's like sword forms. It's just, I'm going to go with a name, and that's just going to describe it, and there we go.
Did we get his good little poem yet? About the Aiel?
Matt's? No.
Yeah. We rode on the winds of the rising storm. We ran to the sound of the thunder. We danced among the lightning bolts and tore the world asunder.
No. That one I think is Path of Daggers.
No, it's Dragon Reborn. I'm 99% sure.
Oh, is it the end of Dragon Reborn?
I thought it was the beginning, actually.
I guess we'll have to read and find out.
The one that I just read was the beginning. No, that's not the end of this one either. Good stuff. We'll answer the question though and tell Nerdporial when.
Okay.
We did skip 2 Perrin chapters and the meeting of a certain Gaul. At least I think we did. No, I got ahead of myself. Nope, never mind.
Yeah, that's next time.
That's next time. I flipped too far ahead.
So just to move things, we're already at 2.5 hours. My bad. So apparently Matt's being followed by people, and this kind of comes to a head in the in the final chapter. Well, it actually comes to a head. Actually, I think this chapter. Yeah, no, it's this chapter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, what are we talking about? Of course. So he's been going around, and he gets he's doing really well. He's got 2 purses full of coin, and he realizes he's being followed. So he's doing some evading, hiding, and he climbs this one. He scales this one building, like 3 or 4 stories, and he's crossing a bridge, and he encounters one of his followers with the foot. What they call them? Foot pads, I believe. Is that what they call the guys that are on foot and everything? And he gets they're trying to kill him. They have a dagger or a blade, and they're trying to kill him. And they're wrestling over on the bridge, and he's just like, you know what? Fuck it. And he's like being held along the railing. He just lifts himself up, and the other guy, and he jumps, and they fall 4 stories, and he lands on him. He lands on the dude. Once again, Lady Luck comes to his aid, and he survives a 4-story fall. And the other dude's dead as shit. So it's crazy. So like the only reason why he survived is because the body he landed on top of the body.
Yeah. And this is going to be a theme that the luck is Matt's special power, and you're getting introduced to it here. It's in the way that Robert Jordan writes it. This was one of the big questions leading up to the show before people, before they revealed that the show was going to be shit regardless, is how do you sit there and convey Matt's ability, which is not really an ability, it's just a natural occurrence for him. And Robert Jordan writes it insanely well.
Yep. And what we failed to appreciate was that the show was just going to give every character that they liked Matt's luck, such that there was no need for cause and effect to matter at all. Everything was just going to work out for them. Unfortunately, Matt does not have Matt's luck, so that's tough. But yes, Matt does win the ladders, tables, and chairs match at the Super Slam.
So he survives the fall.
Yep.
And he goes and he's like, shit, I have to leave. But I need somewhere to stay. I need somewhere to hole up for a little bit. And so he goes to this inn called the Woman of Tanchico, and he encounters Tom Maryland. Tom Maryland is back, baby, and he's drunk as shit. And
hell yeah, he is.
He's drunk, and he's reciting this one song. I thought it was interesting how in this chapter it wasn't written like a poem or it wasn't written differently. It wasn't written the usual in the prose paragraphing, how Tolkien's poetry is done stanza by stanza. I was surprised that they didn't write the song that Tom was singing like that.
Yeah, it wasn't inset.
Yeah, is that what's called inset?
Believe. I think that's what it's normally called.
So, but yeah, Tom. So like it was. I'll say this: unlike the Great Hunt's reunion with Tom, this one was okay. I mean, it was funny. It was more funny than emotional. But I don't think Matt was there. What's weird was Matt wasn't present. I don't think Matt encountered Tom at all in the Great Hunt, right?
No,
I didn't think so.
Rand went alone before they all joined back up again, and then Tom was like, "I don't want anything to do with you." And then the horn got stolen. Well, actually, you know what? I should take one possible exception. Tom was there at Lord Barthanas's manor, and so was Matt. So there's at least a chance that like they ran into each other, saw each other. Matt was supposed to be playing like an injured servant or something like that, right? Like, oh, your servant, like, he hit his head on something, right? And so he might never have been in the part of the palace that Tom was in. So it's still, I think, still unlikely, but possible.
Oh, okay. I forgot how Tom put it. It was actually pretty good. He was talking about, he was referring to taking a life and the consequences of taking a life. So, and where we last saw Tom in The Great Hunt, his lover got murdered. He finds her body, and then the murderers tried to kill him, and he completely dispatched them awesomely, like just straight up killed them. And he gets the answers right away. He's like, who sent you? And we find out it was the king of Kirian, if I remember right. It was the king of Kirian that sent those men, or someone connected to the king of Kirian.
Yeah, Galdrian.
Kirian. That's how the Godfrey's pronounces it. So, yep. So, hey, if it's from Robert Jordan, that supersedes everything.
No, it's Kyrian.
No, it's Kirian. K-E-Y-E. Kirian.
E-Y-E. The word I. Like I. E-Y-E.
No, K-E-Y-E. Kirian.
All right, we need a linguist to talk to us about phonetic abbreviations.
Well, if it was Kai, it would be AI.
Like I said, this is I don't know the way that they might be that he might have shorthanded these. I just know that EYE spells I.
No. Does it? Again, maybe I'm wrong. I could be right. I can be wrong.
It's Kyrian in the audiobooks, but that's not always a great.
I mean,
because they say Tarvalin.
I would, like just the way it's spelled. I would agree with you. Just CAI, Kyrian. Yeah, I could see it.
So I looked it up. It is one of those goofy ones that it is Kyrian.
Is it?
Ironically, this is also the word where kaiju comes from. Even though that's
K-A-I, kaiju, K-A-I.
Yeah, but it comes from the same Middle English etymology.
Nice.
Okay. I take the L. I take the L. Jesus.
Altan was very helpful in the chat and just spelled it out.
Yeah. All right. Pips, just say it. I win. Say it again, Pips. I win again, Corporeal life form.
No, I would never say that.
You should.
I would. No. Horses are classy. That's
okay. But yeah, I take the L. All right, I take the L. Kyrian. All right. So yeah, the king of Kyrian, and so is it doesn't go. It doesn't state it explicitly, but I think he might have been the one, because the king of Kyrian, I believe, is dead. See, I'm saying Kyrian. See, and I think he might have been the one to do the deed.
Yes, Tom Maryland plunged the entire country of Kyrian into civil war because the king killed his girlfriend, who was 40 years younger than he was and was madly in love with him and just wanted to bang it out. Because Tom Maryland is the coolest motherfucker ever.
And Kyrian's in civil war because of the game of houses and all that, fighting over the succession and everything.
I think one could probably argue that Kyrian is always in a state of Cold War, Civil War, but no, Tom murking the guy in charge was
on the same night.
Okay, so thanks, Pips, for making me see this. Welcome to the Nerporial Continuum, Lady Balefire, and because I already played one clip. I think you hear. Do you hear another? Do you hear another clip from? I mean, do you hear another transmission? I hear another transmission.
It could be just my tinnitus, but I do hear something.
Your tinnitus. Okay. All right. I think this. Okay. Here it goes. Here we go. There we go. Baby. That's perfect.
Okay, so it wasn't my phone this time.
Nope, it wasn't. So, all right.
I think Alex is totally right, though. Like killing the king on the same night, basically, that Barthanas got murdered gruesomely in his thing, right? I think you're correct.
Oh yeah, he's dead too. I forgot about that, dude. Okay, yeah. Everybody's complaining these streams are going so long. So yeah. So he Matt's just like, hey Tom, I'm going to Camelin. Come on. He's like, come on with. He's like, why not? I guess I think he was just like, at this point, he's just like, why not? I don't think he had much. He's like, I'm not going to stay here. He's like, I'm feeling sorry for myself. I'm just kind of lingering. And Matt's giving him a chance to go on an adventure. Let's go to somewhere even more dangerous than Tarvalon. Let's go to Camelin, where Morghese wants to murder him.
I'm sorry, more what?
Morghese.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I'll drink to that.
Sorry, I think you're pronouncing that the same way I do. I just
hey,
don't invite me.
Again, this is my interpretation of what's being said in the glossary of these books. So I already took the L on Kyrian, so you only get everybody gets one. Everybody gets one one for me.
So I've been meaning to ask for a while, Brian. The your little thing when somebody becomes a member, is it just Jonathan Banks and Beverly Hills Cop, or is it Jonathan Banks and everything?
I mean, okay, well, I have one other thing by Jonathan Banks right here.
I want to do it.
You're done. You are done.
Okay. The only reason I ask is there are quite a few capturable moments of him in Community, and I've been waiting to see one, but I
haven't seen Community.
Oh,
what?
I'm leaving. I'm leaving. Play that you're done. Play that you're done. Play that clip again.
All right, fine.
I want to do it.
You're done. You are done.
You need to watch that show.
Seriously.
You know, I there's a lot of stuff that I've been told I need to watch, and I watch it, and it's underwhelming. I mean,
1883.
You know, Pips, you were on the ball on 1883. 1883 was great. I really enjoyed it. So yeah, even Pips, Pips can get it. Everybody gets one.
Even a dumb horse can be right twice a day.
No, you're not dumb. I learned quite. I'm the dumb. I'm the dipshit. I'm the dumb. I'm lower than that. So, yeah, don't put yourself down here. So, all right. So we got one more chapter. Let's get this shit done because it's gonna be 3 hours, and I know you guys have. We all have shit we gotta do. It's getting late anyway. So we this chapter has 2 point of view. So apparently in this one, I think they just Matt and Tom they go to the wharf and they just jump. They just run and jump onto a boat. I'm like, whoa, why? Like, whoa, like what? They just run and they jump onto this boat.
Well, and Tom misses almost.
Yeah, he's like, well, he's always, I mean, yeah.
I'm sitting there reading. I'm like, Matt, he's got a bum leg.
He's 60, crippled and hammered. Of course, he almost.
I forget. The bum leg. Was he stabbed in the leg by the Murdral when he fought him? What was going? I forget what the injury was in the Eye of the World.
Didn't
not
really
stabbed. We know it's not stabbed.
Was it? What he like dislocated or something? Or
my head canon was always that he got kicked.
Yeah, he probably got tossed onto the ground, kicked, hit whatever. Like he's an
I
old
mean,
dude, you know.
yeah, he's old too. Yeah, that's true. Elderly, excuse me. I don't want to
Like,
be ageist here.
if he had been cut, he'd be dead. So.
So the name of the ship is the Gray Gull, and basically we meet the captain, and the captain is a tyrant, a tyrant. I think is that how they is that how it's pronounced?
Yep,
Someone from Tyr, and one thing we learned quite a bit about Tyr. Quite a bit of world building. The Tyr, this captain, and I'm assuming most of Tyr, they're a bunch of racists. They hate everybody except for Andorans, or at least this guy does. So yeah, like they just want to take all the Ilianers and enslave them in chains and everything. And Matt's like, what are you gonna do? Like, okay, if you do that, then what? You know. So
yeah, Tyr and Ilion don't like each other at all.
The Hatfields and McCoys.
So, yeah, so I forget the Tyr, all the people in those southern cities, those southern areas, are they very like Mediterranean? They have the Mediterranean type of culture or something. Like they have the skin tone, and they have the no.
I don't think so.
I mean, so one of the things about the world building in Robert Jordan's world, right, is that the real world culture and ethnicity are never grouped together with a real world sort of, you know, stand-in, right? So you're never going to see in the Wheel of Time, you're never going to see people who look like Greeks and act like Greeks, right? You're going to see people who act like Greeks but look like sort of, you know, North Africans, or you're going to see people who, you know, look like, you know, they're Asian but they act like they're Spanish or something like that, right? So he mixes and matches cultures. There's one exception, which is Andor.
Okay,
Andor is basically sort of like Elizabethan
UK,
kind of, you know,
yeah.
whatever kind of England.
Especially after hearing, you know, you listen to them, Michael Kramer and Kate Redding, you know, doing Gawain and Elaine in particular. Like that was the thing that I took away from that. Like, yeah. So
yeah,
the worst one is the Sean Shan.
The worst ones. That sweet Southern drawl.
You don't even have accents. But yeah, so
no, I'm just saying them.
So the Sean Chan are Texans, basically. The Louisianans.
The Sean Chan are mostly Japanese that have Texas accents. Or
Japanese
decorations.
I'd say Chinese. I think it's like Imperial China with like if Imperial China conquered Africa, but then they have a Texan accent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it! We need a Sean Chan to give us a yippee-ki-yay.
And this was confirmed. This was confirmed for season 2.
Oh god, that would be incredible.
No, they confirmed that they will not have the Texan accents, because why would they?
Yeah.
Jesus.
As much as I do love watching like Eastern European actors and actresses try to do not just American accents but Southern accents.
Yeah, it's weird. But just to keep this going, so the captain is just like, you're gonna have to sleep out, you know, for I think a gold from each, you know, you guys can sleep out with the crew and eat with the crew. And Matt's like, fuck no. We're gonna stay in your cabin, and we're gonna stay in your cabin, and we're gonna eat your meals. We're gonna eat with you. We're gonna eat your meals, and name your price. And he's like, okay, I want 10 gold Andor standard or something, or silver. I forget what it was. And Matt just takes out his purse. Here you go. He's like, what? And he's just like, okay, all right, fine. All right, you got my quarters. And he's like, you can eat with us. And then he goes into that whole talk about how he hates Illianers and he hates every other country. Every other country is useless and stupid and needs to be destroyed or needs to be enslaved or something. And he's doing this in an attempt to get Tom and Matt to say what they're up to, and they're not budging, or at least Tom's not budging. So we learn about this Lord Salmon or Lord Salmon guy, and Tom's like, "Who the fuck is he? I know everybody. Who the fuck is Lord Salmon, or how do you pronounce it?" Since I took the L, how do you pronounce it? Salmon, Simone.
I mean, it's probably
Or
salmon
Raven
or something
Simone.
like that. I don't even know if this one's in the glossary, to be honest. But I do think it would be more fun if we just say that we're gonna say official answer. It's Lord Salmon.
But there's no L in the name.
Nope, I think the L is
Simone.
normally silent. I think
I'll just say Simone. I'll just say Lord Simone. Hi, Lord Simone. That's what I'm going to do it. He keeps talking about Lord Simone like he's like Lord Simone did this. Lord Simone did this. Lord Simone is like this. You sound like a crazed fanboy. Get the fuck away. I mean, I'm like. I was reading this. I was like, I want this captain to go away. Like, he's annoying me, the reader. I'm just like, go away. And he goes away. And then I was like, is something going to happen here? Something does happen. They're in bed. So apparently, because Matt didn't think this through, they could have had their own like beds and everything. But since he asked for the captain's quarters, him and Tom have to share her bed. Tom's like, you better not fucking snore, Matt. And he falls asleep and he's fucking snoring.
Obviously.
Projecting. So
anybody who has ever visited their grandparents understands just, old men snore. That's a thing.
Yeah.
Nate's like, can confirm.
Listen, as the resident grandpa of this panel.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah, I don't know what that's. I can't relate. I don't know what that's like. That's so. Yeah.
I need a what if story of just Matt and Tom just walking into the club, throwing around stupid money, and Tom just being like, "Yes, I know every person. Your boss, I know him.
Who the fuck is this Lord Simone? I've never heard of him. It's like they must have brought him up recently or something. Brought this Lord up recently or something.
Mm-hmm.
So the cool stuff about that is like combined with what we learned about Tom and Kyrian and the Great Hunt. You're really starting to learn that like Tom is not even like he used to be a court bard. Tom is his own animal, right? Like he's a mover and a shaker.
He had to learn how to fight from somewhere. I mean, yeah, he had to learn combat from somewhere, and I'm curious to find out. To read to find out, hopefully soon. So apparently, they're sleeping, and Matt starts hearing he starts hearing footsteps, and he's just like, "Oh, something's not right here." So he ends up arming himself. And he ends up hearing them outside, and he anticipates, and he just takes his quarterstaff and just kills them. So he's just like, "Fuck me! I just killed 3 people in a day. Like, what the fuck is going on with me?" Like, so apparently, the boat was boarded, the ship was boarded, and he kills 2 guys, and then he wears their, I think they were wearing like hoods or something. So he goes in disguise, And he's like, he's like, there, he's dead. And the I forget the name of the leader, but the leader's just like, good. And he's like, oh no, I'm here. And then I think he kills the leader, or the one that instigated this. And then the other two people in the boat just they see him and they see Tom, and instead of just fleeing in the boat, they just freaking jump. They just freaking jump off, because they're like, oh, we're gonna do something to those guys in the boat, and they get scared and they run. They jump off, and they're like, oh, they're fucked because they're in the river. They're not gonna make it. So.
Yeah.
I like when other people recognize that Matt is a main character. They're like, want nothing to do with that one.
And I like how Tom, like, they're like, what the fuck is going on? They're like, what the fuck happened here? Where are these bodies? And Tom's like, oh, they're river brigands.
Yeah. And you should give us a discount.
Yeah. Yeah, we should get something for this. So, and we just hit the 3-hour mark and we're done. We're done. Unless there's any other points anything else I missed that you guys want to talk about.
I mean, this is just a damn good book. Mm-hmm. So much fun each time to read it.
So one thing that Lady B said, and Steve told me this too, is that Sanderson couldn't really get Matt right in those final books.
Yes,
I think that
even he admits it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people focus on him not getting Matt right because Matt is such a distinct character and is so loved by the readers, by the audience, I guess. But to be honest, I don't think Sanderson really gets any of the characters right, which is kind of to be expected, right? Like he's not Robert Jordan. There's a lot of stuff in the last 3 books where it is clearly a story being written by a fan of the series, not being written by the author. Language is one of the things that's obvious about it, but also the characters and other stuff.
Okay. All right. Now Dan sharply disagrees.
So Aldan, I'm going to say I'm not hating on Sanderson for this. I'm just saying that no one can replicate Robert Jordan's style and his characters the way that Robert Jordan would write his style and characters. So it's a little bit unreasonable for people to think that like some other author could, especially one who, Sanderson was early in his career at that point. He only had just the Mistborn series and Elantris were published. So like still a fairly young author with a very different style of writing. So is he a big fan of the series? Did he really try? Yes. But it's unreasonable to expect that there would be no change between Robert Jordan and him. So I don't hate him for it. I do recognize that it happened.
It's a good, honest effort. I think it's still an enjoyable effort. And it put closure on a series that when Robert Jordan died, there weren't many people that actually thought it was going to get done.
Tarman guy down with never came. Yeah. Mm-hmm. One thing I can definitely tell you that'll never come is Winter. Winter's never coming. Sorry, I had to bring up the series. So, all right. So that basically ends this part 2 of Dragon Reborn. Not sure if I'm going to do 2 more, if I'm going to do 1 more, and just cover the rest of it.
Oh man. It's going to be.
I would have to make it earlier. I would have to make it earlier. I would have to make it a special time. So, you think I'm gonna have to do 2 more, Nathan?
There's a lot to cover, and we covered quite a bit in this section. It took 3 hours. It would. You probably need a couple hours twice to cover.
Yeah, just think about it. Like all of the storylines are all getting to their like rising action and then climax in the next part of the book, right? So everything that we've had so far, a lot of like building, establishing, laying down some of the the groundwork, but all of these stories are about to start ramping up together, right? And they're about to start, intersecting. So
Okay. All right. Well, then I guess. I guess we'll have to do. Yeah. Well, we'll figure it out. So. All right. So, but yeah, the next one there will be a next one in a few weeks, and the next guest will be Gadfly Fiction. So Gadfly Fiction will be the next special guest for this. So, and I might have an idea for a double secret guest because that's what I've been doing. This book I've been doing double secret guests. So Alex today was the double secret probationary guest, I guess. So I don't know if you guys caught that little Animal House audio clip of Under Rafe. That boy's a PIG pig, So sorry. Yeah, I just couldn't. Yeah, I just couldn't. So, all right. But anything you guys want to promote? Anything you guys want to plug in? Start with Pips and Alex.
Alex, do you have anything to plug?
So part 1 of the Perrin video should be coming out tomorrow.
It's a two-parter now.
It is, because I hate the second part and I want to get something out, so I'm cutting it in 2.
Yeah, I was curious what would come out first, the Perrin video or When's a Winner?
Season 2.
Season 2. Nobody wants season 2.
That's true. Nobody wants season 2. Everybody wants the Perrin. We did a poll. The people spoke. I feel like Alex was the one that said no.
I did not vote.
Let's see. The Lord of the Rings stream is going to be back this upcoming weekend, right? So we'll be finishing the Two Towers with a couple of us currently assembled. We actually, now that I think of it, haven't invited a guest. We need to do that. So we'll get on figuring out which guests we want to have on for that stream. But we'll be finishing that up, and then the week after that, we'll be watching the Two Towers extended edition on our channel. And I think probably have some odds and ends and stuff going on, but not a whole lot.
I still got to catch up.
At some point, we have to do a reaction video with all of the various Wheel of Time aficionados on that absolute just terrible abomination of a season 2 prediction stream that the Dusty Wheel did. Oh man, I don't know if you guys watched that. This may not be true for the whole time. The part that I tuned in for, he wasn't even on his own channel. The Dusty Wheel channel was being hosted by people not Dusty Wheel. I was like, yeah, because even he was like, this is too bad. I can't be associated with this. This is awful. So.
Oh, and there was a casting announcement for season 3 today, and these 3 winners or 4 winners are part of season 3.
The two in the middle,
wasn't this one in a movie called Powder?
It's just
she would have been my pick if we were doing American Dad and we needed Roger. Okay,
oh Jesus! Wow.
Oh man. Yeah.
So that's what you wanted to plug. You wanted to plug that, Nathan.
I'm not plugging anything except for White Cloaks on Saturday with Two Towers, because right now I got too much going on.
Yeah, I got to catch up because I need to catch up. So at least before the finale. I don't know you guys. I know you guys are months away from the grand finale of Lord of the Rings, but I want to be part of that. So I have an idea for an intro. I have an idea for an intro of the finale.
If you're reading up still, you gotta let us know when you're with us. We'd love to have you back on.
Oh yeah, definitely. I've just been busy with Wheel of Time, so understandable. I know it's weeks away, so and then I just have to get more acclimated to Tolkien's prose and everything, because once again, 5th grade reading level here. So, and heck, I couldn't even pronounce a word right. I mean, I'm taking L's today. So, all right, but on my side of the country, I am going to be doing I am third of the way done with my retrospective I've been working on. Hopefully I'll get that. I want to get that done this week. I want to get that uploaded. And then stream-wise, I don't think I have anything going on. If you guys haven't seen it, I did a Star Trek stream with Gray yesterday, talking about the episode Dagger of the Mind. It was a great episode. I did something funny. I actually hypnotized myself on camera, because that was what originally... The reason why the Vulcan mind meld exists is because originally they were going to do hypnosis on TV, and the networks, they had strict rules about that. So Roddenberry came up with the Vulcan mind meld to kind of surpass this, to supersede all that. So, or to remove those obstacles. But definitely watch that. It was actually a really fun stream. I actually learned quite a bit just doing the research. So it's on Gray's channel, and I don't think this week streaming wise, I think I'm going to be on Punk Waddle's stream. He's having me do something with him. I don't know what it is, but I don't think I have anything going on. I think I'm going to be free of streams. So yeah, last 3 days have been streams for me, and I'm free. I'm free for a while, but 2 weeks, there's gonna be another whiskey stream. So I'm gonna be making cocktails. So if you guys want to make cocktails with me, no, there's no appearance of a certain Poriel that I refuse to acknowledge or exist. So it's not a thing. It's not a thing. So, but the next Wheel of Time thing will be in 2 weeks. So the final one will be in 4 weeks, and I still have to find a special guest for that episode. So stay tuned for that. And it's been 3 hours and 11 minutes. So everybody, stay incorporeal and have a great night.
Walk in the light.
Thy Charmin, Etherin.